Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. Not
Hi.
so subtle.
Hi.
I wasn't actually talking
Sorry.
to you guys yet.
Oh.
Were you talking to
No,
our fans?
no, guys.
Sorry, we need to do this again.
Welcome to Not So Subtle,
Oh, God.
best podcast in the world where we talk about video games, movies, pop culture. This week, we're going to talk about music, maybe, if you guys have anything to talk about.
Sure.
But let's start by introducing ourselves. I'm Jordan Miller, and as always, I'm joined by
Colton
Dan
Potter.
LaPointe.
Oh, man.
Got you.
You looked at me and paused. Okay.
I'm Culture Potter.
No.
No.
Excuse me?
I'm Dan LaPointe.
And Coulter Potter.
Confusing first-time listeners.
Yeah.
Do we need to go back over this entire thing?
No.
No. I'm Colter Potter.
I'm Dane.
And I'm Jordan Miller.
I'm Dane Miller. You're Culture LaPointe.
And I'm
You're Jordan Potter.
Kermit.
And Kermit Miller LaPointe Potter. We have joint custody.
I was about to say that.
All right, so this is the Not So Subtle podcast. You didn't have to say it, Coulter. I knew I had a frog in my throat. Should we just start off with our classic intro, the lightning round?
The lightning
Let's
round.
go.
Brought to us by Elfster.com. Hit
Shout
the
out.
affiliate link down below.
Shout out to Elfster. We are affiliate members. We're not.
Thank you, Elfster, for this. Let's read the title of this again. A lightning question office party icebreaker game that will leave your coworkers shooting from the hip.
That is the best title
That
for
is a
anything I've
mouthful.
heard.
I do wish each one had a different title, but I can't. Listen, they provided us a lot of good content, so can't blame them.
Round one. All right.
Keep score this time, please, someone.
Texting or talking?
Texting.
Oh, man. If it's between texting and talking on the phone, every time texting.
Yeah.
Every time.
When you're actually in the act of it, though.
What do you mean? Like talking
Not
in real
like-
life?
Well, I mean, like, it's not a question of, or I'm going to say it's not a question of if you want this to happen to you. It's when you're in the act of it, which one do you enjoy more?
Oh.
I'm gonna go.
Like I
with-
said, if it's talking on the phone, I hate talking on the phone.
I hate making a call, like to someone. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do that.
It's horrible, yeah. So
I don't want someone to call me.
that's definitely a generational thing because
They used to talk on the phone all night.
that's right.
Guys, did you know they used to not have texting?
No.
No.
Look,
Millennials.
even back when I was using this is gonna date me. Even when we were using T9 texting, I would still prefer
man.
that over talking on the phone because I got pretty damn fast at T9 texting.
Wow.
I would
How
just,
many WPMs you got?
50,
pathetic.
208
Okay, well that's excessive, but
I
on
never-
T9.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I got into texting pretty late, so I only had T9 for a short period of time before I switched
Okay.
over.
I mean, I didn't utilize it a whole lot. I don't know. I guess no, I did actually.
Did you have a sidekick?
No,
I did at one point.
that had a real keyboard.
Still used. You could still do T9 on it though, with like the front part of it.
That's true. But the whole point of the sidekick is you do the flip. You do the fata.
That was a very satisfying flip.
Then you.
Multiple times, just sit there, just with your thumbs out, just
Would you
Pop
have
it.
like this, like the actual sidekick,
Yeah.
like on T-Mobile?
not on T-Mobile. It was like whatever Sprint's version of it was.
Oh, okay. The Envy.
You're plebeian.
Sure.
Oh, I remember the Envy. It doesn't
Yeah.
it didn't flip around like in a circle. It just flipped
It
up.
was like
It
it was like a
slid up.
DS.
yeah, it
yeah.
slid up. Didn't
pretty
slide
cool.
around in a circle.
Oh,
like the
there was
sidekick.
one. There was another one though. I think the Envy. There was another version of it that was like a DS. Like you opened it up like a clamshell style, and
I
then
didn't have that
you
one.
would
That's
type.
not very cool.
I had that one.
Why?
It's the one I filmed the
I
video of
remember
like
that.
the weather or like the windstorm or whatever. Yeah,
Probably. I
I filmed a lot of crazy.
didn't
videos
have
on
the
that.
Razor. Did you guys have the Razor?
No,
No, I wasn't cool enough.
I remember.
I had one that was like the Katana, I think it was called,
Katana.
which is the
that's fucking
Sanyo
dope.
version
Yeah.
of the.
Sanyo?
Yeah, they were making phones.
They were still in business back then.
Yeah, that was like the Sprint version of the Razor.
how did
Essentially,
we get onto this?
I don't know.
Phones.
Oh,
Teen
texting
Nerd.
or talking.
Guys, favorite day of the week.
Friday.
I'm gonna go with
Friday.
I'm gonna go with Sunday.
What a hipster. Couldn't be
Why?
Friday or Saturday.
I don't know. There's
Lazy Sunday.
Yeah, there's just something nice.
Today I don't feel like doing anything.
Tonight I don't feel like doing tonight.
Sunday night tonight. I don't feel like doing anything.
I don't know. Something is cool about Sunday.
Wow,
is like,
you guys just aren't gonna say Wednesday. Savage.
look.
I mean, it's every day besides Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's
Wednesday's
like
obviously the
this
best
is
day.
the obvious
Yeah.
answer. So
Yeah.
I don't want to be a mainstream.
for
Kaz.
Sunday, the reason I would say Sunday is because most people I feel like would say, like, oh man, Sunday is just another Monday. Like your week's about to start. You're getting ready for Monday. No one likes Mondays. Like it's kind of like the calm before the storm. But if you look at Sunday like the last day to get the best out of your weekend, it's just another day of your weekend. The only difference is that you have to work the next day.
That's right.
So it's like it's the last hurrah of the weekend. I like
Yeah.
Sunday. It's nice.
It's also different if you have a job that doesn't like follow a typical work week.
Like mine
That's right.
and
mine.
yours, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's different.
So Sunday, half the time I'm working Sunday anyway, but like even when I get home, there's like that cool Sunday feeling of like, I'm gonna get a little cup of tea, I'm gonna read a little book, play some video games. It's a nice, it feels nice.
Elfster.
Come back.
How do you feel like when to come back?
I would probably say Saturday.
Yeah.
Typical. It's nothing
Friday or
special,
Saturday.
all right?
Hey, but they're good.
Saturday
the
is
weekend.
good.
It's a good day.
Nothing bad is going to happen on a Saturday. I'm sure several atrocities have
When did
happened.
9/11 happen? No, that was a weekday actually. Yeah, I remember I was at school.
They probably made sure of that. Wow.
that
Got
was. Ooh, whoa, my God.
It's 9:12 right now. Wow. All right, we've made it past 9/11
All right.
in more ways than one. I can't get out of this
You're
segment.
You
trapping
can't
yourself
get out
in
of
a
it
hole.
fast enough.
Guys, favorite city in U.S. besides the one you live in?
What
was
the
that
hell are you
sound?
doing? Turn Siri off for the love of God. How many times is he going to interrupt us?
I don't know.
Also,
Holy
he's a
hell,
man
Please
on
say
your
that
phone.
he is. It's because he calls me Master
a
Bruce,
man.
and it sounds like Alfred.
Yeah, that's great.
You have a
man.
sickness. You're on your way to her. You're one step away from that.
Oh, her. the
Oh,
movie.
I was like, what are you saying?
It took me a really long time, also.
Sorry, that was a deep cut, I guess.
Somewhat. Okay, wait. Family favorite city
What?
of
Your
the-
favorite city
Family.
besides the one you're living in.
Yeah,
Family
family
favorite.
size
Family
favorite.
fun
Yeah,
center.
Family fun
Your
size.
favorite family-sized minivan.
The Nissan Quest.
Dodge Caravan.
The Nissan Quest.
Honda Odyssey.
I don't know what's happening.
This is going off
Someone
the
help!
This is almost more stressful than Texas Chainsaw
We
Massacre.
are going to get into some fever dreams later, so let's,
That's right.
let's keep it there.
Well, I mean, you guys already know what I'm gonna
San
say.
Francisco,
Yeah,
right.
San Francisco.
This is lame. You're so fucking lame.
I
dude.
love San Francisco, dude. It's a great city.
I'm not going to take it away from you.
I believe that you believe that, but
Good luck ever living there.
I
Unless
want-
you make quite a bit of money.
unless you make
I
$1
mean,
billion.
If I made enough money, I probably would live there. But look, it's pretty much like Seattle, but in California.
That's right.
really what it is. That's honestly why I like San Francisco, because I
Is
love
that
Seattle.
all? What else about it? I'm sure there's got to be other stuff.
I mean, it's a beautiful city.
The
the
hobos.
weather is nice. Like
homeless.
it's the reason I didn't like. Where did I go? Oh, I went to San Diego in California.
San Diego.
And like Anaheim and stuff, like Disneyland and those areas, and like Legoland and all those places, and it was just too hot.
Yeah.
Like too humid.
That's
It's
southern.
It's too humid. Yeah, it's too humid. It's too hot. Just it's California's nice, but I could never deal with that weather. So San Francisco has a lot of great elements of California, but the weather of Seattle, sort of.
it's temperate there.
Yeah, it's sunnier most of the year, but it's like in the 70s or something. Like it's like the perfect temperature, and then it still rains in the winter. You get all the great elements of
There's
Seattle.
a lot of fog.
There's a lot of fog.
Heavy fog.
And it's I don't know. It's just it's a thriving, fun city. I think it would be a good place to live as a young man if it weren't so expensive.
That's right.
So there's a lot of elements I enjoy about it. Mostly the fact that it's in California, which I enjoy, but not terribly hot. It's the main
Favorite
thing.
city besides the one I live in? Bellevue.
Really?
No.
Thank you. I fucking hate Bellevue.
I don't know. Do you have one lined up, Jorsbin?
I don't particularly have one. I haven't been to like very many big cities that I've stayed in a bunch. A couple times I've visited Colorado and to Boulder. It's pretty nice there. It's a chill town. It's not super big, but it's a nice little kind of city. And Colorado's pretty cool, so it's close to Denver.
No.
I know there's got to be one of like.
What about somewhere you visited when you went to Spain?
España.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
It's a fun city.
Barcelona.
It's a little bit too hectic, but it's cool. I did in France visit a place called Aix-en-Provence, which was a very chill town, and I like that a lot.
XM.
Aix-en-Provence.
Is it actually X and N? Wow.
X, and then like EN or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. My mind's going to Portland for some reason. It's
Portland's
not that
nice.
great.
I like Portland.
It's good. I mean, it's kind of just another Seattle, just even more like liberal version of Seattle,
and potentially more dangerous.
Yeah. So there's nice little businesses there. Voodoo Down.
You're right. You can face a throng of zombies.
That's right. Except that my story of zombies was in Vancouver, actually.
Oh, that's right.
I get Vancouver and Portland mixed up. They're basically just
when
secondary
I went to
Seattles.
wait, did I go to? No, it was. I'm pretty sure it was Portland. No, maybe it was Vancouver because I remember we had a similar.
Were there people playing like humans versus zombies there or something?
No, like literally. Okay, there's a street called East Hastings in Vancouver, and it's obviously not the whole street because it goes across like the whole city, but there's a stretch of it that's basically the ghetto of the homeless neighborhood, but it's like still kind of in the city. Yeah. And there were just homeless people walking around like, and these, I don't know if they're like emptied out businesses or whatever, but like they were like curled up in like blankets and they were just all around. Like it looked like The Walking Dead and like we were like invisible to them or something like that. And they were just walking around like zombies.
Portland does have a significant
terrifying
number of homeless people there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in China.
This was in Vancouver.
Oh, Vancouver. I'm sorry. But Portland does also have a large
That's right.
amount of homeless people.
And Seattle.
Seattle, San Francisco. A lot of places.
Not to say that I hate homeless people or anything like that. It's just,
It just is what it is.
Yeah, I was tempted to say New York, but I don't know if I could really deal with the pace of New York. It's stressful for me.
You're definitely a West Coast boy in that regard.
Like Seattle is, like Seattle. New York is, I was there when, how old was I?
Tell us the full story.
Well, I mean, to put it in perspective, I was like, probably American Airlines.
Okay.
Or United Airlines, most likely, actually. But
do you remember the seat?
A15.
Window or
checked bag? Or no?
Window, of course.
Okay,
yeah. Actually, it was first class. So
good on you.
Damn.
They did everything.
Wait, really?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so.
Wait, this is a separate question. Have you ever flown first class?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What about you?
No.
Me neither.
I got upgraded to
That's
it for
insane.
free.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
And
That's
my
how it
parents
happens.
would never no one I know really.
I'm convinced
except for
that
a
no
few.
one purchases the tickets.
Yeah,
for
no.
first
I think
class.
what happened is like we missed a flight or something, or it got canceled, and they're like, "Well, if you stay, or no, it's those things where it's like they asked that guy to do that, they pulled off the plane, where it's like the plane's too full. Like if you want to get off, you can stay in a hotel or whatever." And we did that actually.
I'm going Disneyland.
Yeah, and they're like, you want to stay in this hotel overnight and then fly out tomorrow morning first class, and we're like, yeah, I guess. And then they gave us like free tickets for another flight or something.
Cool.
Anyway, I was really young when I went to New York. The point is, I don't think it was very overwhelming for a young child to be on the streets of New York. It's a very busy and bustling place.
Yeah.
So
even as like a high schooler, I was like overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's very different than any other city I've been to.
I would like to visit there. I probably wouldn't want to live there.
I wouldn't ever live there.
When you think about, sometimes I think about like how, like, you know how you think about like only your life when like people go away. I don't know why I'm having a stroke right now. And you don't think about how people's lives go on like outside of your life. Like when you guys leave my house, it's like, okay, what am I doing? Like what is my your guys' lives don't continue past when you leave my sight.
We only exist here.
That's right.
According to you.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
But multiply that times like 1 million,
Yeah.
and all those people are coexisting at the same time in one like tiny little space. Manhattan is like the most densely populated like area like on the planet. So when you get a close look at that, you're like, oh, this is what the world is, except on a tiny scale.
Yeah,
Which is kinda scary.
that is actually true, because that's why it's so overwhelming, because no other city, even in the U.S., comes close to the density of population in New York. Just the entirety of New York, especially like, Manhattan, or like Manhattan, or like I don't know, like Greenwich Village, or I don't know, anywhere on that little island. Like, it's just so crazy. I didn't go to like New Jersey or anything like that, but that's just New York's trash can. So
just kidding. We know nothing about the East Coast. Disclaimer.
We really don't.
Okay, boys, I'm entering in my password. Let's guess what it is. All right. Nickname your parents used to call you. Oh no, I didn't. No,
we're not
this.
doing this.
I didn't screen this.
Jay.
That's great. We're gonna move on.
I have.
Damie.
I have some that I'm not gonna say it because
I
know that people are gonna use it.
Little Bear. They ain't got called Little Bear.
That's not true.
You did. Your family has a fascination with bears.
That's not true.
Goldilocks.
They do. What the heck?
They do.
I never thought about
don't lie to me. Your family had a bear nickname for you as a kid. Don't lie to my
didn't.
face. Don't lie to my face.
They
I know
did
it's
not.
true.
They had a nickname.
They did not.
They did not. They had a nickname that I'm not gonna say it because I know you guys will use it and heckle me with it. It's not anything related to bears.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna answer that either.
Colty.
They're just. I mean, everyone calls me Colty. So
Harry Potter.
That's not Harry Potter.
Your family called you that.
My mom now calls me Colt more than anything else.
Colt 45.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a fun nickname.
That's a sick name.
All right. Last song you downloaded. This is a segue, possibly. You could use it as one. I'm throwing you a pitch.
Do you not have...
No, just because you... Or there
I can
are
actually
more,
look at my phone right now because I've been on a Spotify binge lately, so...
Last song that I... do we mean, like... What do we want to classify this as? Like last...
It's like last song you had like a playlist or
okay,
whatever.
Because I haven't downloaded a lot of music recently. I can't really say that.
Mine is Take You There by Sean Kingston.
Okay.
Shorty, I could take you there.
And then our other version that we can't sing on.
We absolutely... I'm sad you even mentioned it. Because now people are going to want to know. And we'll never speak about
we can't.
There's some things you can't say.
That's true. And to anyone.
To anyone other than someone that you've grown up with for your entire life.
That's true.
Mine was Nightmare by Avenged Sevenfold. A song that I listened to a lot, but for some reason didn't add to this playlist I already have going.
Nightmare!
Yeah. I do love that song.
It's a little stressful.
There's a fat drum beat that I can't remember. It's something with like little double bass drum.
It goes hard.
I don't even know.
For me, kind of not really a long story. When the news broke about Dolores O'Riordan's death from the Cranberries, I realized the Cranberries sounds familiar. Where have I heard their stuff? And I looked up,
They're one-hit wonder.
They're not actually. Kind of.
They're a two-hit twonder.
They're a three-hit twonder.
Nice.
Yeah, I looked up like their best of or something like that, and I realized that they had a lot of songs that I knew. You guys probably know a few of them too. And so I started listening to their music, and it's very good. I enjoy which is strange, but I enjoy Celtic music, like traditional Irish folk music like with like a fiddle or like a nickel harpa or something like that.
So do I.
Do you?
Nickel harpa.
Like, it's a type of like violin, I think. Or
Great.
like it's like a stringed. It's strange, but yeah. So
did you buy like the DK picture book about like Celtic music?
Yeah, no, it was a pop-up book. Yeah.
This is DK Sharpa.
This is a fiddle. No, so I started listening to the Cranberries, and then
hold on. Do you think there's a DK like photo book about guns, and it like says all the
100%
stuff about
no,
guns?
I know there is.
I hope so.
I think there might be one. That would be hilarious.
This
though.
is an M4
this
carbine.
Is, yeah. Oh my God. It has semi-automatic fire.
Chambered with 5.56 caliber ammunition.
That's hilarious.
In addition to this, when utilized with a bump stock.
Oh no!
No, we can't.
Come on!
No, we can't do that. Yeah. So anyway, so I listened to the Cranberries, and then from there I realized, where would I find like traditional Irish folk music that isn't like like a cover band or something? So I looked up like best like Irish fiddle players or something like that, and I found I don't know, dude. This is like a tangent that I went on. I got sucked into an Irish whirlpool of music, and
Sure.
I found Kevin Burke, and I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's like Domhnall. Is it Domhnall Gleeson from Star Wars? Like, I think you say
What
Domhnall.
I heard was Donal.
Donal. Okay, it's
I
probably
don't know.
so Donal.
Callahan.
No, it's like fuck.
Oh, Seamus.
Michael or something like
Okay.
that. I don't know. Oh, Seamus. And so apparently like,
O'Reilly.
these guys. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Nice.
Hit the affiliate link below to get O'Reilly's Auto Parts coupon. No,
Autoerotic.
so
Go on.
I found these albums. One of them is called Promenade. The other is called Portland. Oddly enough, and they're both recorded by these boyos who met like toying in some really popular Irish band. Like it's actually really popular in Ireland. And they like left the
Did
band
you
or
say
something.
touring, toying, or
Who met like toying in some really popular Irish band. Toying.
what word did you say right there? It sounded like twang, toy.
Twang.
You said like some
So,
touring in
Reba
some
McEntire.
band. Sorry.
They were touring.
Tour. Oh, okay.
Touring. I don't
They
like
were
saying
the Turing
touring.
test.
They were doing the Turing test, and then they left this like the whatever I forget the name of the band, but they left that, and then they recorded a few solo albums, and the Kevin Burke guy is regarded as the world's most famous and best fiddle player.
So the last song you downloaded was from him.
The last song I downloaded was multiple albums of his.
Oh. What's the last song you listened to by him? Seamus's Lullaby.
Seamus's Lullaby. I think it was O'Reilly Auto Parts theme song. No, I think it was called Lord Franklin. No.
Cool.
I think it was oh
O'Reilly.
Seamuson.
Yeah, so it just went like on a giant like Irish adventure for some reason. The music is quite good.
Sure. It's got a nice sound to it.
It's relaxing.
Not
Just put it
something-
on in the background.
Yeah, not really something I would listen to just on my own, but if I heard it,
Now,
yeah.
no, I won't say it.
Okay.
Please apologize.
I don't want to appropriate Irish culture.
Great.
Good on you. You're
There's a lot of
chumser.
green around us right
That's
now.
true.
The audience doesn't know it, but
That's true.
yeah, I guess maybe we don't have to do all of them. That's a good little ending there.
Do we want to segue this into
What?
more music? Or is
Was
that
there
the
more?
end?
Oh, I thought that was what you
No,
were going
I
to
don't
talk
know.
about.
That was just my little music story, except that it was kind of random.
Sure. Do you have any music you want to talk about there, Jordan?
I was just curious as to what Dane already told us what he had been listening to recently.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious. Have you been like on the lookout for stuff or been really into something lately? Or anything of the sort?
I mean, while you're thinking of that, I could just say the reason I did this is because I was once I listened to the Cranberries, I was like, oh, this is great stuff. Like, I looked up like an album or something, so I was looking for vinyl, and it turned out that they re-released one of their albums, like the original recordings or something, which is pretty cool of them to do. And this was before she died. And then from there, I found the Kevin Burke stuff, and I was like, oh, this would be cool to like, because I'm looking for stuff I can put on like in the background, just like put on the player and then just like listen to it or whatever. I don't have to have like I don't always want it to be like rock or like an album that I know. I want it to be like instrumental stuff. So I found that and I was like, oh, this would be cool to like just have and just it was like $8 on Amazon or something like that, and just play it in the background and listen to it. So recently, and another thing that I wanted to bring up, I think I might have said this one I was talking about when I got my record player for Christmas, but when you buy a vinyl record and you put it on, it, for me at least, it makes it a lot easier to discover new songs on an album that you might not have listened to, because it's a lot harder to skip tracks.
Yeah.
So like a good example is like, what's a good example? Plastic Beach, the album that you
is bad.
love. I had listened to it like all the way before, but I do have a few songs on there that I prefer. But whenever I put that album on, No, I can't skip anything because it's very hard. That particular album too is like cut very very thin.
DJ it real quick and just skip ahead. Yeah.
No, I just let it play, and I've discovered that listening to an album all the way through is a different experience than just like going on your phone and clicking like a song and like rather than like going through like a journey through the album.
Sometimes the album, if you listen to it from beginning to end, is the way the artist wants you to listen to it.
And it's interesting because I can definitely see that from doing it recently. So
I wouldn't know because I only pick my favorite songs out of Spotify and listen to them from there.
That's what I've done for years, and it's a different experience, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's different the way they used to do it and now.
Yeah.
That's right.
Though because of
it's our modern sensibilities and wanting to just get to the
because of that, and because I've been like trying to find some new music because I've been listening to the same the playlist that I have going usually had like 180 songs on it, which is a fair amount, but I listened to it for probably a good year. I was like, okay, I need to add things to it. So I just started going on Spotify and would be like, okay, I like this artist, click on them, and then just look at like their top 10 popular songs on there, and then just add every single one without listening to it. And I've enjoyed doing that a lot because I get a lot of different things on there. And also when you do like the radio on Spotify, it takes that into account, and I get some good stuff on there.
Wait, did you say you're doing this for musicians you like heard are good?
Heard that I myself like already, or if I'm doing like Spotify has like the Discover Weekly, so I can just listen to a new artist. And if I like one song, I will just go to that artist and just save every song from like their popular one. Or if the radio plays like, it usually goes, play one song of a band that you know or a song that you have, and then multiple songs from people that you haven't heard before or aren't like saved to your library, and then I do that to them too. So
yeah, I want to like get more music into my life. Because I always, whenever I have a music session where I like go through and like listen to stuff, I always want to or I always wonder why I don't do it more often.
It can be hard because like it's really easy for me to just go, here's the playlist, I know the song that I want to listen to, and then I just listen to it. But I've been able to find a lot of good songs from artists that I do listen to and ones that I haven't. I've been on a big like indie rock. I don't like that term because indie doesn't mean anything, but I've been big on that. And some like electronic pop, if you will. Marina and the Diamonds, if you guys have heard of her and them.
No.
Good group. I've listened to some.
They're very like I think you said for like Odessa one time, it was like, they have a lot of haunting female like vocals on it. It's like that, but pop. I like it a lot. And she has sick beats. I don't know if they're a group. I'm sure they are.
With any like band nowadays, you're like, is this one person? Is this two people?
It's
is it a
impossible
DJ?
to
Is it
tell.
a band? Is this the name of the person?
You just don't
is
know.
this the name of the band?
Like, the group is called Marina and the Diamonds, I assume, and the Diamonds are a group of other people. But
I'm assuming those are her
hard
musicians, maybe?
Maybe it's impossible
Producers,
to tell.
musicians, play
We don't know.
It's-
beatboxers,
we don't-
acapella.
We don't know.
Yeah, completely impossible to tell, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm always looking for new good EDM, electronic dance music to listen to.
Honestly, that Discover Weekly playlist on Spotify is eerily cool. It more often than not, I would say like 70% of that playlist is stuff I actually like that I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
And I'll go on there and I'll be like, okay, I don't recognize this album art. They don't have any like members of the band that or any other groups I like. It just takes like it's like Pandora where they take like I don't know, remember when you can look at Pandora and it's like, well, this is recommended to you because of the, like they break down like the musical elements of it and everything. They must do that for Spotify, but like to a way higher degree because
Yeah, I always
it
found
actually
that on
works
Pandora
like
bad.
Yeah, like it never really. I would get stuff on Pandora from artists that I've heard of before.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just other like top 10 hits of
Yeah.
like if you listen to like Breaking Benjamin or something, you're gonna get like Avenged Sevenfold or like Kill Switch or something. But Spotify it is actually really impressive because it actually works like they say it will.
Yeah, actually, in speaking of that, in school we learned about the way that like Pandora and other places like Netflix and a bunch of other like places that can like ask like, oh, do you like this song, or like this is something that you like. There's different ways of doing it, and Pandora's like, we compare these songs to other songs that are similar, but Spotify is like, we compare what you like with other people who are like you and see what they like, and that's how we get that stuff. Like
Okay,
that's how
that
they do
makes-
it separately.
So wait, they just use like the users of Spotify
Yeah,
essentially.
they like
that's
it's like, oh,
interesting.
if this person is like you and they like this song, you'll probably like this song. Whereas Pandora, it might be reversed, but this is like the difference between them is like, if you like this song also has these elements of that song, so you'll probably like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different way of like categorizing things. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's whatever they're doing, it works quite well
Yeah.
on Spotify. So
Do you have an affiliate link I can
that's right.
click?
Down in the description below.
Down in the doobly-doo.
The doobly-doo.
I was just gonna say that a song I've been listening to a lot recently. We've listened to it before. All Signs Point to Lauderdale by A Day to Remember. A Day to Remember is just a fun time band. They're like a pop punk kind of, but also metal because they have screaming.
Yeah.
Pop punk is just, you can't get better than the classic pop punk bands such as Blink-182, Yellow Card,
I was gonna say Yellow Card.
and then not a lot of other ones. So yeah, when I hear that song, I can't help but feel happier. So, although when you hear a song that makes you feel happier, and then you listen to it over and over again, then the effect wears off,
Yeah.
almost like a drug.
Yeah, that's why you got to find those new songs. You got to get the new songs.
You gotta get the new ones. It's better, I swear.
That's why you just need to get more songs, man. More songs.
That's right.
All right. Anything else to add?
Swag money.
Wait, who won the lightning rounds?
Kermit.
No one
The
kept-
fidget spinner.
Whoever wins, we lose.
The fidget spinner did win. Cool.
Wow, that was really bad.
That was not good.
pathetic.
One thing that I've done recently, which you guys will probably find strange, or maybe very typical of something I would do.
Stranger than your
is,
Gaelic delving.
Yes. I've listened to film scores.
I'm not surprised in any way.
Yeah, I know.
Water's wet.
It's weird to... I don't know if I like it. I haven't added them... No, so it's different. I haven't added them to my playlist or, like, my library.
Yeah.
Like, it was not something that I would just have, like, in my library that could just come up randomly in a playlist, because that just does not
It's
work.
like, I'm going to listen to this.
Yeah, but, like, I would just go and I'd be like, okay, so I like... Well, like, one example was, like, The Dark Knight or something. I was like, I like The Dark Knight. I'll listen to the score. And it's like, I don't know if I actually enjoy doing that by itself, but it's
Yeah.
definitely interesting because you listen to it and you pick up on elements that, like, you aren't really focusing on when you're watching the movie.
I don't know if I would like that, because some of the... Like, if it's not a song or something like that, that can be separated from the film and listened to by itself, then it's just, like, out of context, it doesn't have any meaning, really. It's just...
Yeah, and some of them are, like,
Ambient.
very, very just, like, clearly ambient, like,
Yeah.
tones and things like that, where you're like, okay, this is obviously, like, a conversation scene or something, but, like, there's
Bruce
other ones...
and Alfred conversation.
Yeah, but then there's other ones, like the car chase scene, like the whole truck chase with the Joker, and, like, elements of, like, I don't know, there's, like, parts in The Dark Knight where... This is a completely random example, but where, like, the Joker is talking, and then there's, like, that noise that gets, like, the, like, white noise in the back that gets louder and louder every time the Joker is,
Is this like the clock ticking thing for no?
It's
I don't
similar,
understand.
but every time the Joker is, like, doing one of his little monologues or doing something crazy, there's, like, a white noise, like, very, like, weird pitch sound that, like, gets louder and louder until it's, like, really annoying. But they have that on the soundtrack, but it's, like, with music accompanied to it, and it's kind of interesting. But that is, like I said, I haven't determined if I actually enjoy doing that or not, because
Yeah.
it's really weird. So
Yeah, I hate
It was an experiment.
listening to soundtracks.
yeah.
Unless it's like themes.
Look,
theme
one
songs or-
soundtrack that I've listened to a lot is the Kingdom Hearts soundtrack.
That's right.
Uh,
Those are
and-
all like themes.
And the Final Fantasy
We'll say
X
that.
soundtrack.
Those are just straight up like nice musical songs.
They're
not
great.
so much just like trying to set a tone for a scene or something like
Yeah,
that. you know?
yeah.
They do that, but
Doo-doo.
nice.
Oh my god.
Sick, bro.
We've
Let's
reached a new
infantilization.
level.
go, dude.
Man.
Any other musical things you want to talk about?
No.
No.
One thing that, no, nothing really, but really quickly, one thing that I thought of recently, actually, was when you guys were saying that you don't enjoy concerts that much.
hmm
I was thinking to myself, and we can move on from this if you want, but but I was thinking to myself, would I ever go to a concert by myself? And I haven't determined the answer yet.
I would literally never in my life.
Because I was thinking, like,
of doing that.
Because so there's, like, some Oscar, like, movies that are out that I was like, like, would I ever go see that by myself, or, like, would I ever?
Movie is a harder choice for me.
Really? Than a concert?
I've definitely thought about like going to a movie on my own. Yeah.
Oh wait, what do you mean? It's a harder choice for you to decide if you would rather go to a movie than a concert?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
By yourself.
By yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the concert, I was thinking, like, I don't know, for some reason I can't picture myself doing that. I could picture myself going to a movie by myself.
Concerts are such a communal experience that, like, if you go by yourself, it's just, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, again, one of the reasons to go to a concert that I would enjoy is to be hanging out with people and have that experience. By myself, I'm just going there to listen to loud music and people aggressively being next to me.
Asses.
Like, I would never put myself in a situation like that by
Friends
myself.
keep me sane during concerts.
exactly. Like, at least I have someone to, like, have, like, a shield
See
around
what the fuck is happening to
me.
me.
A movie, I've never gone to a movie by myself, but multiple times.
Would you do it?
I probably wouldn't, if I'm being 100% honest, but I would consider it just because I like to go to a movie and just sit there and watch it. Like, if I like going to movies with friends, but sometimes people talk, people are doing stuff. I want to sit there and just watch the movie, and just absorb it all,
and
know,
just be immersed.
And just be by myself. But I wouldn't.
Sure.
I honestly probably wouldn't do that by myself, but I would consider it.
I wouldn't do it just because, like, people would see me, like, going by myself and judge me. And
I don't
want
that social stigma.
Yeah.
But then
people you wouldn't know and would probably never meet again.
That's right.
Would be judging you, and it's just the end of the world.
I don't want them to feel awkward because they're gonna be like, "Wow, look at that dude just sitting by himself," and like they're gonna feel bad, and then I'm gonna be the reason for that. It's just
there's definitely been times where like probably when we've gone to the theater that like someone comes and sits down like close to us, or like you see someone come and sit down, and you're like, oh, like they're they're saving the seat for like. For their friend or their family member, and then they never come in. And you're like, okay, this person's just here by themselves. Happens a lot with comic book movies.
We've judged them.
Look, it's hard not to judge when you see someone come in.
I respect someone having enough just straight up like self-confidence, like, yeah, I'll go watch a movie by myself. Like, I don't care. Like,
I've wanted to do it. I've wanted to do it sometimes because I think it would be a different experience because you'd really be like fully, 100% fully immersed. You want to be thinking like, oh, what are we gonna do like after this? Like, where are we gonna go like get something to eat or like whatever it is. Like, you're just there and you're gonna see the movie and then you're gonna leave.
Yeah.
So like,
I think there's a guy at Thor Ragnarok that was there by himself that was like actively laughing at jokes and stuff. I can't see myself like laughing in the theater by myself.
Here's one thing that brings up an interesting point. When you're watching like not a stand-up comedy special because that's a little bit different, I guess. But like if you're watching like a movie or a TV show or something and like there's a funny moment, do you laugh by yourself?
By myself?
Like when you're alone, do you funny, like laugh out loud?
If it's really funny, yeah.
I've never laughed by myself.
Dude, so so good. That's such a Jordan thing to say.
I never laughed by myself.
That's so good.
Oh my god.
Wow, that's the highlight of the podcast so far. Yeah, no, so I was thinking the other day, I was like, am I broken? Like, why am I not laughing, like, by myself? And, coincidentally, the next day, I was at work, and I was in the break room, and I wasn't by myself. There were people, like, far away from me, and it was, like, no one was in the break room, but I was watching, some clips from Stephen Colbert on YouTube, and he had, it was, like, I think I was probably watching Graham Norton clips, honestly, and then it was, like, they had, like, viral, Tonight Show clips, or, like, late night clips where, like, the one where Joaquin Phoenix goes on Letterman. Have you seen that one? Where like he's doing the bit for his new movie, and he has like a giant beard, and he's like really like spaced out, and he won't talk to Letterman.
No.
Oh, there's like all these weird like appearances where like people getting kicked off shows and like leaving shows and stuff like that. And so I watched one that I thought was gonna be like a crazy like event or something, but what it was Bruce Willis being interviewed by Stephen Colbert, and like it's a completely normal interview, and then Stephen Colbert's like, so do you do your own stunts? And then Bruce Willis is like, oh yeah, of course. And then Stephen Colbert's like, are you sure about that? And like he's like kind of questioning him, and then it gets to a point where Stephen's like, okay, well, say you do your own stunts, like that's okay, well, we'll just say that you do. And then Bruce Willis is like, are you accusing me of being a liar? Like, are you saying I'm a liar? And then it like they get up and they pretend like they're about to fight, and then it just cuts, like the camera cuts to clearly stunt doubles, like obvious stunt doubles of like this guy who like kind of looks like Bruce Willis, but he's like much more heavy set. And then there's a guy like that from behind has the exact like hairpiece that looks like Stephen Colbert, but he's like much like buffer and everything. And then they're like Stephen Colbert like throws Bruce Willis through like a drum set, and like this like a crazy shit
the
happens.
Announcer's table.
Yeah, 16 feet through an announcer's table. No, so they do this, and while it's happening, they're saying like the most ridiculous things, like Steven kicks Bruce down like off the little like set that they have, like the little stairs that go down. He kicks him down. And he's like, "You look tired. Let me get you a chair." And he just picks up like a chair and hits him with it. It's like obviously fake. And while I was watching that, just like their noises, like every time they would get hit, they're like and like just giant noises from punches and kicks. Like for some reason it was really hilarious, and I was actually like laughing out loud in the break room because it was
what the fuck is wrong?
It was so unexpected. And in my head I was like, wow, I've never laughed by myself. No, but I realized that I hardly ever laugh like that hard by myself, and I thought it was really strange. And I was just thinking about it like a few days prior, but that video was too funny. I couldn't help it.
No, I've definitely laughed to myself watching some vids.
Damn, I really thought that like I was
no.
picturing that your entire life.
I'm not that dark.
Damn.
No, but isn't that
while
an interesting
watching
thing
what?
to think about? Like I really honestly
Just whatever.
don't laugh that hard by
Just
myself.
whatever. Lately, been watching a funny called Monster Factory
funny.
from Polygon. That's where they make like a bunch of like they use character creators in video games and then just fuck everything up real bad.
Oh, I've seen those.
It's very funny. And I cracked quite a few times watching that, but and just random videos, whatever.
Yeah, I'll be like watching YouTube or whatever, and then someone will say something just so like on the nose, and then I'll have to like auditorily do something.
And quite frankly, as we know, I don't watch a lot of movies by myself, so I don't have the chance to laugh at a movie by myself very much.
That's true.
And honestly, by myself, I probably wouldn't watch a comedy if I had the choice, because
That's fair.
I'd rather watch something else.
Yeah, I mean, on YouTube, like, SourceFed would make me laugh a lot. Like, Table Talk, there would definitely be moments where
Steve
I'd
has
pause
made
it.
me laugh out loud.
Yeah, where, like, I'll have to rewind. I'll be like, no, I need to see that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's good moments. Anyway.
Yeah, I've never laughed, so.
Yeah, I've never laughed ever.
Since I was a baby.
Since I was a child. Since I was a Julia child.
I don't know what that is, or who.
It's a chef, I believe.
All right.
Well, all right, then. What were we talking about before?
I don't know.
How did we get? I honestly don't remember.
I'm not sure. Music.
Well, yeah, it started with music. I don't know how we got to that, but
anyway.
All right. Well, shall we move on to talking about some movies?
Sure.
One of them is for kids. Another one also for kids.
They're both
Another one. If a kid saw it, they would probably die on the spot.
Of a panic attack.
They'd probably burst into flames.
Let's start off by talking about our Wacky Film List, which is a list of films that we've generated based on movies we like, and every week we pull one out of a bag randomly. Last week we pulled Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The original.
Original
1974.
74. Tobe Hooper.
Tobe Hooper.
Tobe Hoops.
Coincidentally, the same director of Poltergeist.
Yeah, Steven
Some
Spielberg.
would say.
A.K.A. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Any rumor that he was part of Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
It's 100% confirmed that he directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No.
Weird.
This is Tobe Hooper.
All right. And Coulter, you also watched Coco.
That's right.
Let's talk about that first.
Let's talk about both at the same time.
Okay.
All right, you go ahead.
Okay, so Texas
Coco
Chainsaw
was
Massacre
great.
is a fantastic family-friendly film.
Coulter, let's hear your thoughts on Coco. None of us have seen it. Jordan probably won't ever see it.
Absolutely. I don't even know what the movie's about, I'll be honest.
Okay, so this was announced a long time ago as Pixar's Day of the Dead film. It's all about It sounded like they were saying Dia de Muertos. I always thought it was Dia de los Muertos, but whatever.
I think that's like a really proper way to say it.
Probably. So yeah, it's about a young boy named Miguel who lives in Mexico with his family.
Familia?
His familia.
His familia.
And
Nice.
there's a lot of respect for the dead on
course.
Dia de Muertos, and they put up.
And in general.
I don't know the name of this, but it's like kind of a shrine where they put the pictures of all their like ancestors on, like a shrine or whatever.
It's a dead shrine, that's what they call it.
That's right.
That's not it.
And the whole thing about this family is that they make shoes. They're like cobblers.
Yeah.
The word cobbler is never used, but they make shoes. And
Does this have anything to do with the Adam Sandler film, The Cobbler?
no.
Okay.
Same universe.
He probably loves this film.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he was an executive producer, possibly a director.
That's right. No, he's nowhere near this film.
For good reason.
Paul Blart was in this. No.
Damn.
Jesus.
So yeah,
Dia de Blart.
in their past, the Dia de Blart, the lady that is the farthest back, like in their family tree, that is on the the shrine, had like created the shoe empire, and she did that because her husband left her because he wanted to pursue music. He was a guitarist / singer.
When was that taking place? Is it like modern times, or is it?
Well, that
back
was
in the day?
that situation was way back in the day,
So it's
like
an ancestor,
generations back. But they tell that story to this day, and to this day in their family, they hate music and they discourage everyone to not play music.
Bunch of sour.
I know.
Patch
It's
Kids.
been like so many generations.
Yeah,
They still
come on.
hate music. That's a little not believable.
They've
but
never
whatever.
laughed.
It's fine.
They've
Different
never
cultures
laughed. They've never played. They've never listened to music by themselves.
by themselves. It's a group affair.
Yeah.
So yeah, the kid obviously wants to play music. He has a guitar. He has to sneak into his little attic to play music. And he has this one musician that he loves. I can't remember his name. Yeah, I'm
Is
not
it
even
real?
gonna,
Is it a real
I'm not even
person,
gonna try.
or-
No, it's not a real person. It's just like a fictional person in the universe who's like a legend in their town. And so he decides that he wants to participate in the talent show. And so on Day of the Dead, he goes to steal the guitar from the cemetery of this famous guy because his grave
That's
is like,
illegal.
yeah, he's desecrating a gravesite. But as he's doing that, he gets transported into the realm of the
Okay.
ghosts.
That's where I figured that was gonna.
Yeah, and then like he meets his ancestors in like the realm of the dead, and like has to get back to
Bizarro realm.
reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
There goes gravity. Whoops.
So yeah, and then other hijinks ensue.
Is it a funny film, or is it a sad
Yeah, I mean it's a
film?
Pixar movie, so there's lots of little fun jokes and stuff like that.
I've heard
Yeah,
it.
it's
I've heard
fun.
people say it's pretty somber at points.
Yeah, there could be. It's not like as kind of emotionally serious as like maybe even Toy Story sometimes is. I feel like Toy Story is like too serious sometimes.
Got some
but-
dark parts in there, but I feel like a movie talking about Day of the Dead, at least, and like respecting your ancestors or something, or a little somber at some parts.
Yeah, it could be more. Like they could
Yeah.
have gone overboard with it. It's pretty cartoony, like the Land of the Dead, and they're all like skeletons in Land of the Dead, so their bodies are like flying all over, and like they're disjoining like their arm to like smack someone with their arm or something like that. So
Comedy.
there's all sorts of comedic slapstick. So yeah,
I enjoy slapstick when executed correctly.
yes, I enjoy physical comedy a lot, and it's kind
Yeah.
of dead in modern society.
Yeah.
People like fancy wordplay more
true.
than a comedic physical joke.
That's fair.
Gag. A gag.
A gay egg.
Yeah,
Faux
I
like.
loved the film
Wow.
while I was watching it. It was like with good kids movies, it's basically like you're just I hate to use this because it's not for kids, but it's kind of like you're on drugs because your inhibitions go away.
Yeah.
You're just feeling nice feels.
Get a nice little
It's
emotional.
euphoric.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it's not even like, I'm so happy right now. It's just like, I don't feel the pain of being an adult.
Of being alive.
Escapism, a little bit.
Yes, but it's also like more than that because there's nothing like offensive.
Yeah.
Like everything is just nice.
Just a wholesome,
Everything is wholesome. Yeah.
fun time.
And Pixar like has gotten to the point where it's just like so beautifully like rendered, and there's just like it looks like Uncharted 4 at all times, and it just looks good. Yeah, and the music is good. There's a heavy musical element, obviously.
Do you think this has a chance of winning
Best Picture.
a best animated film? Do you think
Absolutely, because it's a Disney
Yeah,
movie.
he'll probably win that. What about best original song?
I think it could. I don't know the other songs,
Are there any
but
bangers in there that you
The only
could,
other one,
recommend?
the only other song in there that's probably close is the one from "Calling by Your Name" because it's a popular song outside of the movie. But I don't know.
I'd probably count on that then.
Yeah,
The song that's nominated is a very big deal within the movie and is like a plot point and like comes back several times.
is it like the main theme essentially.
I guess so. It's not, I wouldn't call it a theme. It's like a song within the movie too.
Oh, okay.
So,
With singing.
yeah, like the famous guy wrote that song. The guy that he loves wrote that song. So yeah, they keep coming back to that, and it's a good song. I mean, the songs aren't really bangers. They're like guitar heavy, like like Mexican influenced songs, I would assume, which is good, but there's no like fat drumming or anything like that. There's no rapping.
Then get the fuck out of here, Coco.
There's no Will Smith getting jiggy with it to be had.
Thank God.
Thank God. I love that song. Just kidding. No, but yeah, I really liked the movie. Like, there was like a very not sad, but like a very emotional part, and I did not cry, but I had. What I do is I look away from the screen. And,
we talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about this, and I didn't know if that was weird or not to just like look away when you're feeling the feels. You're like, I'm gonna
will cry, and I will look away from the screen.
Yeah. So I literally looked away, and then I was able to control myself.
For me, it's always that dramatic thing where like you're watching it and you feel yourself starting to cry, but I don't look away. I just keep watching, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, don't do it. You can do this, and then like it's like a little boop boop.
I feel them well up in my eyes a little bit, and then I just...
Dude, the end of Warrior
got me teared up.
I was
even Your Name.
Your Name was pretty sad, dude. I might have teared up when I was watching that.
I did. I specifically remember at the end when that happened. I was like, I didn't cry.
I didn't cry.
I remember that. Yeah,
I didn't.
I didn't cry, or I didn't feel as emotional in that movie as I did in this one. So maybe that's saying something, but yeah, I doubt that you'd feel as strongly because it's not.
I would have to see it first to feel anything. So.
But I definitely recommend it, although it's not. I don't think it has the what do you call it? The originality necessarily to be standing out like a standout classic or anything like that. But while I was watching it, like everything about it was good. So
cool.
I'm glad I watched it, and I recommend it.
All right.
Well, we've talked about feeling uplifted.
We've talked about
euphoric.
Everything feeling inoffensive and just you're at ease and nothing is wrong in the world.
Right, and then we watched a film.
What if we just took that idea and just took a chainsaw to it, if you will?
What if we massacred it?
What if we were in Texas with
we
a
did
chainsaw
all those things
and we massacred it? We watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's right. It was a film.
Everyone just collectively exhale.
Yeah.
Just you can breathe again. It's over.
I do have thoughts about this movie. A lot of them are, what the fuck is happening? Help me. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Please stop. Help. But there are some actual formulated thoughts in there. But
right.
Do we need to... Should we set up the movie?
Sure.
Coulter. Actually, Dane, how you doing?
All right. I feel like this is... the best way to describe this is it's sort of the... like basic formula of a slasher film boiled down to like its very
slasher.
core. It is, yeah, it's very early. Essentially, is it five kids? They're supposed to be kids.
They're teens.
They look older.
One of those dudes is 40 years old.
They're not teens. Anyway, five.
Those women are at least 20, and the men are just
probably close to their 40s.
Could even be 30,
early 40s.
Yeah, right. So.
They're teens.
Basically,
listen, they're in their hundreds.
Five people who are
they're just elderly,
who are described as young.
Who I've been told are young.
Who I've been told are young. I don't know if I believe that. I think we're led to believe, from what I read in some of the reviews that I was reading afterwards, they're on their way to one of their friends' childhood homes, and they're doing like a little vacation camping adventure.
I ever wanted.
Right, vacation's all they ever wanted. They got a whole lot more.
And just going into the woods, backwoods of Texas. To hang
so
out.
they're going to a very rural part of Texas.
Rural.
And it's
My
they're
farm made
going
rural.
there. They're going there to visit this old house.
Yeah.
And then it's a very simple setup. It's a very simple movie.
It is.
That's about the gist of it.
And then you did forget the part about the man with the chainsaw who does
That's a
kill
spoiler.
everyone.
That's a spoiler, Jordan.
No, I'm sorry.
They pick up a hitchhiker on the way, who immediately is there's something wrong with the hitchhiker.
He's off.
He cuts himself in the car with a knife. He cuts another one of the people,
with
one
a
of
knife.
the young people, as he's leaving the car with a knife, a razor blade, and then they go to this house and they discover a family of who we are led to believe are cannibals, led by the infamous Leatherface, a hulking monstrosity of a man, a hillbilly who wears a man or a woman's face.
It's really whatever he's feeling.
Whatever. Yeah. Man, this movie was.
Had you seen like any of the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies before this?
No, I was always aware of them, and I always heard that this was the classic, and then all those other ones were always regarded as like the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, where like people were like, "Oh no, don't watch this."
I think I've seen parts of that one because I'm pretty sure Jessica Alba is in that one, and I do remember that. I don't remember the actual movie because I'm
sure it's bad,
generic AF. But
yeah,
I was surprised by this one because normally a lot of these older horror movies I'm not a big fan of because they're generally kind of slow. Mm-hmm. This one, a little slow in some parts, but the actual like some of the tension is really good.
Oh yeah,
and also some of the ending I felt to me started off like it gets incredibly tense and like crazy. There's a lot of screaming going on. There's too much screaming, I might say. And, like, it got to the point for me where I was like, I can't handle this anymore. Like, it wasn't scaring me anymore. I was just, like,
really
felt
stressed.
like I was done with this. I was like, just stop. Like, I don't want to take this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
I need this to end.
Yeah. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, I would say you always hear people say, like, oh my god, Halloween was so scary when it came out. Or, like...
I was about to compare it to Halloween.
Yeah, like Halloween or, like, I don't know, any of those, like Jason, like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, like any of that stuff, you always see that, and you're like, your parents or people who watched it back then, or like film reviewers are always like, man, this was like the pinnacle of fear and all this stuff. And then with this one, like, I honestly I cannot imagine how people reacted when they saw this in the 70s. Because today, it's still disturbing and, like, stressful to watch. Like it's anxiety-inducing in some parts. And, I mean... films this day, like horror films, are probably more violent. Like, there's not a lot of gore really in here.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of like, you don't see a lot of like really visceral like.
I was expecting
violence
some
or something.
I
was expecting like, because it was with a chainsaw, like you expect some crazy shit to happen. You see some like bodies and stuff that have been like already
like decomposing,
like stuff like that. But you don't actually see a lot of like explicit violence or anything.
Yeah.
And so thinking about today, like nowadays, a lot of horror films kind of bank on like shock. Like you see a quick like crazy like kill or something and you're like, holy shit. But with this one, it just very slowly builds tension around a very simple concept, and there's not a lot of like smoke and mirrors. There's just a lot of like what you see is what you get. There's just like it's very brutal and raw. Like when the first time the guy goes into the house and Leatherface just hits him with a fucking hammer, his body just drops, and it's like not very gratuitous or like it's not very stylish. It's just
there's
like,
no music. He just smacks him with a hammer.
Yeah, there's nothing.
It's
It's just
down.
like a very like raw look at just like violence, and it's strange.
Yeah. I was gonna say that we have seen Halloween. We've seen this. We still need to see Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th.
They're all on the.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how it compares because Halloween was a day in the park compared to this movie in terms of scariness and violence. I feel like in this movie, once it ramps up like towards the end, in like other movies when your protagonist is like getting, not even necessarily tortured, but just like the evil guy has him.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm about to kill you. Like, you're done. Like, you're in my trap. It's over. And then like they get out or like miraculously get saved or whatever.
Someone came and saved them, or like we somehow slipped away.
This movie, that never happens.
No.
That scene is drawn out for basically the entire last third of the movie.
It's like 30, 45 minutes of just like there's a scene
of her being in like perpetual
There's
peril.
basically a scene where she's in the woods pushing one of her friends. They get jumped by Leatherface, which that part honestly scared me the most. That was the best jump scare.
That was a good jump scare.
Not a lot of like scares in the movie for me. There was a lot of like tense moments, but that jump scare got me because it was incredibly unexpected.
Yeah.
But then from there on, it's literally just 45 minutes of her just running and trying to survive.
She's being
for her
tortured.
Life. It's just chaos.
And then she gets
time.
like gagged and like tied up and thrown into a truck, and she's like,
And she gets taken to dinner with the fam.
With the McCrearys. I don't know what their names are.
What they are.
McCrear.
Made real. Yeah, man, that last... When they pull the bag off her head and she's at the dinner table, and they're just, like... Just laughing at her and being like, "Shut up, bitch!" and like saying all this stuff.
She's still
and
just like screaming at the top of her lungs. I'm like, someone help!
And in that scene, like we all talked about it while it was happening, but like it had probably the most like visually disturbing scene of the entire film, easily, but probably like one of the most visually disturbing scenes in all horror films that I've seen, where like it just zooms in on her eyes, and like you can see like, it's like I don't even know how to describe it. Like it keeps cutting between her
uncomfortably
screaming.
Macro shots of her eyeball.
Yeah, like of her eyeball, and then also of her screaming, and like different cuts of like her face, like contorted in different like positions while she's yelling. And then it keeps cutting over to like the crazy people who are all like smiling and being like, and like,
and it's uncomfortably long.
And it's very
so
long. And then there's also like that weird soundtrack playing throughout the entire thing, where it's like just clangs and like metallic, like
it's just screeches
industrial
of like metal
noises
scraping
and, like,
and shit.
Oh my god. I was actually getting like nervous while I was watching that. I was like, I can't I can't let this go on.
It was torturous in real life.
Yeah, like I can't watch that for another like it was like 5 minutes or something like that, but it felt like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And it was very stressful.
Yeah. I would do anything to make it stop. I've said that in jest before,
but this is true.
Much
yeah.
Except I didn't turn it off, so I wouldn't do anything to make it stop. Because I could have made it stop.
You could have just muted it.
Honestly, there were points where I was like, I may have to stop this. Like,
yeah,
it crossed my mind.
Yeah, it's stressful.
Yeah,
it was a stressful movie.
Listen, we're not weenies.
No, I mean we watched the Serbian film.
Yeah, this was in some ways like not as crazy as the Serbian film.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Yeah, like this is a better film than a Serbian film.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Just like technically, like the sound design is really good. It does get absurdly loud. Like the ending scene is Leatherface swinging a chainsaw around at what can only be described as the loudness of you standing next to a jet engine. It's just roaring in your ear.
Loud.
Like it's like I've never heard something that loud on like in a film. It's so goddamn loud. It's like this has to end.
So the ending is something interesting to talk about. Basically, we've already spoiled a lot of stuff. So,
they've already watched it.
Yeah. So, but basically, the ending shot of this movie is a prolonged chase sequence, I guess, between Leatherface and like the family, like some members of the family, and then Sally or whatever the girl's name is. And it's just an extended like on foot chase sequence that turns into like a car chase sequence for like a brief moment, and then the truck driver gets out of his car for some reason and they go back on foot.
There's a lot of unexpected things.
Yeah, and then a truck just drives by and picks her up, and she gets into the flatbed of the truck, and then as she's running away, Leatherface is chasing her with the chainsaw. They get far enough away, and then it keeps cutting between scenes, like really close up scenes again of her like laughing, like excitedly, like I survived, like I'm fine on the truck, and then it cuts to Leatherface like swinging his chainsaw around like with reckless abandon, and it keeps doing that, and then in the midst of him doing that, it just cuts to black and ends.
Yeah. But it's not, when she gets in the bed of the truck, it's not her like being like, oh my god, I finally made it. Like she's still just screaming like in terror at the end, and then it just
she's been like her face, like she has like a smile on her face.
She's been screaming
like,
all night.
She's like at a certain point she's like she looks happy that she's alive. Like if you look back, she's like smiling. But I don't know. But she is screaming. I didn't
notice that.
She is screaming. That's why I was like, she's like, that's why it's so stressful, because it's like constant and like you're being barraged by her screaming and like the noises and everything. And then just when Leatherface is going, when he's on one and he's flipping his chainsaw around, it just ends. And then you're left sitting there just like, you're like, oh, I should probably breathe now. I should probably like, catch my breath from this ordeal that I suffered.
I needed that. If that had gone on any longer, I would have been upset. I was already getting upset by the end of that film.
It was stressful.
Not in a good way. Like that part, honestly, for me, I was like I'm done. I'm done with this. Like it's so long of her just like in complete torture. I was like, this is insane. Like, just stop screaming. Stop.
She's under duress.
She's under duress.
For
the
like
family,
45 minutes.
The family is just a bunch of like weird dude, just like with a bunch of like dumb laughs. It's like whoa, like
it's
like,
no,
it keeps cutting to their faces.
There's no rhyme or reason to anything that's going on at this point. I just felt
there's no solace.
Yeah, I felt like I was just in a nightmare. I was like, stop this film, please.
I was in a nightmare.
Yeah,
then
it was a
ends
fever
abrupt-
dream.
It
for the
ends.
most
It ends like
serious.
a dream. It completely just goes to black.
Just
Yeah.
oh, wake up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I liked that cut to black.
it's bold.
That ending was great. Yeah, it was a very bold ending.
I speaking of the editing, I really liked the scene where she runs into the house during the day. I think still maybe like approaching the night, and she locks the door and. She runs upstairs, and you see Leatherface starting to like saw down the door.
Oh yeah.
And then it cuts to her upstairs, like trying to find someone to help because she doesn't know it's their house. She's like trying to find someone to help out, and then she like goes over to these like basically corpses,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "Help, help!" And then it keeps cutting down to him like
Ripping through the
door, and it like. It might not sound that amazing, but like the sound design and like the music and the visuals and the editing work together perfectly like for that particular scene. And so I thought that was my most interesting scene because it also wasn't just complete torture. It was like, oh, okay, there's
still
she's
a chance.
trying. Yeah,
Like,
she's still
Like
trying.
she
to
has
survive.
hope. She has some sort of hope.
During that extended like chase sequence, she is like staying ahead of him like one step at a time. She's manages to get away, and then of course it doesn't work out that way because everyone in that town is against her apparently. But it. I do like that scene a lot. Like every time, honestly, when one of the teens went to the house, it was just like you knew
It was always like
shit,
yeah.
something bad happened immediately. But yeah, I do like that scene because also when she goes up there, she sees the two corpses. It's like, oh, like, and she must assume they're dead because they look dead. But then
They
turns
don't
out,
move in that scene.
Yeah, it's
They're
not.
dead. They look dead.
They look dead. But it
Yeah.
turns out one of them, at least one of them, is still alive. It's the
Somehow.
grandfather that is like somehow
And he,
aroused by
like,
blood.
Sucks on her bloody
Yeah, it was
finger.
disgusting.
That was so fucked up.
Honestly, though, the part where they're like, "Oh, Grandpa's a great killer. He's gonna do it," and then they give him the hammer and he drops it like 25 times trying to kill her. I was like, "This is a joke."
That was bad, but then also there's that scene where like he hits her in the head, and then she has like a bloody like contusion on her
Yeah.
head, like right in like it looks gross.
That's when you're like, end me now.
yeah, like I don't
You
want to be a
realize, like,
part
Just
of
hit
this
me in the
anymore.
head, please, sir.
Hit me in the head.
Here's my head. I won't even move.
The scene that really got me, I do like that scene that you're mentioning where he's chainsawing the door down because like with the sound editing and how loud it is, like
Yeah.
it would cut to her upstairs, like you know fumbling like with the door and like going into rooms and stuff, and then it would cut down and like as soon as it cuts, the noise is already going, so it goes like. Like her in the room, and then just cuts back, and it's like, and then it cuts back really quickly, and the music, like the sound cuts off, and you can't really hear the chainsaw like from her upstairs. So you just like are being bombarded by it like every few seconds, and it's like.
I think also because it cuts kind of quickly. It's not
it's
like,
like a
there's an
second or
extended
something.
scene and then an extended scene. It's like really quick cuts between the two. Mm-hmm. Not like, strobe light cuts, but like, a couple seconds at a time.
Yeah, which was cool. But I also really liked the scene where, well, I didn't enjoy it, but I liked the way it was filmed, where the first guy goes in, and he's like, yo, like, what's up? Like, are you in here? And like, what's going on? And then Leatherface opens the door and just hits him with a hammer, and then his body's like twitching or whatever, and then he just pulls him in, and you just see him like, you just see his body get pulled like limp across the thing, and then he shuts the door. And then it has the scene like of her. She's like on a swing set or something, like his girlfriend, or on a bench or something, and it follows her like into the house. And then Leatherface runs out and chases her, and she like gets pretty much outside, like pretty much to the door. And then there's just an extended shot of him dragging her all the way back down the hallway into the room, and then it continues following him. It's not a one take, but it goes into another like tracking shot from behind Leatherface, and he just like has her over his shoulder, and she's like, no, and then he puts her on the meat hook, and like that whole thing happens in one thing. So you're just like this is I was gonna say this earlier, but this at times the way this movie is filmed sort of feels like a documentary almost. Like there are some style. It's hard to say that
because they don't cut time wise.
Yeah, and like
everything happens in
everything happens in real time. Yeah, there's
basically.
no like weird cuts or like stylized things. So like when you're seeing her get dragged into the room, you're like, okay, well, she's literally just getting dragged into the room right now. Like there's no like clever tricks to hide this. Like it's just horrible. And stuff like that really made it sold the horror a little more for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really ever think that, like, when I was seeing that kind of stuff, I was just like, okay, I'm watching footage of these people getting, like, trashed by this guy. Like, I'm not watching a movie. So.
I think for me, like, the most impressive part to me was, like, the sound. As much as I hated how, like, absurd it got at the end, the parts before that just do a really good job of, like, amplifying the tension. Like, even when they first get to the house, they're like, oh, what's that sound? Oh, it's a generator. And it's just so loud. Like, there's a scene where he, like, he's, like, walking through, like, a little, between some fences, like, into the house. And he's like, hello, hello. Like, you can't even hear him over the sound of the generator just, like, grinding, like, the chainsaws. Like, this is just a, like, gross sounding, just industrial, just slaughterhouse over
and the
here.
sound, like, I think the part of that is because you never really have a chance to breathe, ever. Like, and also, there are a lot of moments where it, like, fades or something, and then it cuts to, like, the next day, or, like, does some sort of, like, transition where it's, like, you know, however many hours later they're over here doing this. It's just all happening in, like, the correct order, and whenever they cut, it's just to, like, someone else in that area doing something. Like, it's never, like, let's cut to these people over here, and then they cut back, and the other people have been there for, like, you know, 2 hours doing whatever. It's, like, you always see what's happening, and there's no, like, weird time jumps or anything, so... It, I don't know, like, the movie, like, the pacing was really good because of that, I thought. So
yeah, I think it seems that with any horror movie, the sound design is especially important, and possibly even more important than a lot of other elements in the movie.
I will say, though, I really enjoyed the cinematography. I thought it was really well done.
There's some neat shots.
It was a little dark at points, but yeah, just, like... And maybe it's more the editing, but there's a lot of just really interesting things that when you're watching it, you don't really get that feeling that you're watching, like, a movie from the 70s necessarily. Like, I think it holds up pretty well for horror. So, I enjoyed it a lot.
It was a good movie.
I actually really liked this movie. I don't know if I'd watch it again.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again because I was under duress, but I do appreciate it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I would definitely recommend this to any horror fan that hasn't seen it. I feel bad that I haven't seen it up until this point.
I would say it's top 5 scariest movies I've ever seen.
I think you guys like this movie a lot more than I do. I will say that.
I would say it's probably in my top 5 scariest.
It's hard to even say scariest because that kind of encompasses, like, fun scary, or, like, you know, some types of scary that it isn't, because it's mostly just disturbing and
I would say
offensive.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, and, like, shocking.
Yeah, like, it's just, it makes you feel bad. Like, you don't feel well when you're watching it.
I wouldn't say it's, like, top 5, or it might not be top 5 horror movies I've ever seen, but it's top 10 most scared I've ever been.
Yeah.
Or top 5 most scared I've ever been during a movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
You didn't like this movie that much, Jordan?
Not as much as you guys. Like, I appreciate how tense it was, but, like, it didn't get me scared that way. Like, the only scare I got was when he jumped out and got when they were wheeling that guy to the house. Like, that was the time I was like, oh, like, holy fuck. And that was a jump scare. Like, the other times are just tenseness and, like, unease. Mm-hmm. But not unease where I'm like, oh, like, I'm getting, like, nervous and shaking. I'm just like, I feel anxious and, like, bad because it's so aggressive and
That's
loud.
what I mean, yeah. Like,
but that's not fear to me. That's not a scary movie. That's something different, to me at least.
Yeah, I feel like fear
I see what you mean.
Is, like, more when someone is in a situation where they could win, but it's, like, stacked against them so heavily
it's immediately
that they're scared of losing.
It's immediately clear in this movie that no one is, like, there's like no good outcomes. It's like because even when the first couple people die, it's like, okay, this dude died, it literally didn't even have a chance like of getting. It's like, okay, well, maybe his like lover or girlfriend is gonna help. No, killed immediately, no chance at helping, and everyone goes to that house and dies immediately, and they're never even looked at again. Like, they're just gone from the film basically at that point. It's like you just know it's like, okay, nothing good will happen.
The finality of death. Yeah, this movie is very unflinching in that regard. It's like, well, they got a hammer to the head. They're gone. They're not coming back.
Yeah. I respect it, but don't think it's like it didn't affect me in the way that I wish a horror movie does.
Yeah, I definitely like more fun, horror movies. Not even necessarily like it has to be comedy or anything like that, but I like some hope, some some good versus evil.
Some sort of like feeling is like, okay, that like even if the feeling was fake for me, where it's like it's just like a trick that the director's gonna pull on me.
Funny games.
Yeah, exactly. Like just something like, okay, like I want to feel that they at least have some sort of resolution possible, but it never happens. Like this movie is just dark, and that's it. You know
from the start that like they're probably not gonna make it out.
Like it's bad. I did like the scene at the very start though when they're driving along with like this shot of, like the cattle, and you just like these like slack jawed cows just like as they're like talking to each other, like, oh, this is depressing. But
they are the cattle.
They were
cattle by the end.
We are The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
All right, I know they're comments?
No, I'm getting triggered just thinking about it. Can we move on, please?
Well, you have to give it a review.
I can't.
You have to. Don't make me scream at you.
I can't.
I can't. Honestly, I'm gonna give this movie a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
I'm gonna give it an A. I don't think I even gave Halloween a very high score. We would have to go back and look. But
I don't think it deserves a super high score.
no, I don't think it does. But for the most part, with these horror films, especially pre 90s or 2000s or whatever, like you never really know how it's gonna go. You never know if it's gonna hold up, if the editing is gonna be weird, like if the acting's gonna be bad, whatever it is. I think this is one of the few older movies that we've watched, and just specifically horror movies that I've seen that I think still hold up today. Like I can see why people revere this as a classic and why it was like remastered for the 40th anniversary and all that kind of stuff. Like I can definitely understand why people are still talking about this movie and still watching it, and like people are still suggesting it to the new generation of moviegoers. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really liked the cinematography. The sound design was cool. There's a lot of like weird editing tricks and techniques that they use that the reason I say this is because I'm trying to imagine watching this in the 70s when it came out, and I can't, because compared to everything else, it's like leagues beyond anything that they had probably ever seen. And you always hear people say that. They're like, oh my god, Poltergeist, like at the time Poltergeist was the scary movie, and then you see this and you're like, okay, well nothing like would ever compare to this for sure. Like maybe going forward like 20 years, maybe nothing would compare. So it's a important horror film, I think, and one that didn't disappoint me.
That's right. I think that you already know whether you want to see this movie or not. I don't need to recommend it to you. But if I had to give a recommendation, I'd recommend it to horror fans, obviously. People that want to see a movie that will make you feel something.
Even if you don't like it.
It's not boring.
No.
It will not be a good feeling, I guarantee that.
But yeah, it forces you to feel something, and that's always a good thing when you're watching a movie. So for that reason, I will recommend it to able-bodied adults who don't have a heart condition or
honestly,
if
are
you
pregnant
or get anxious or anything of the sort, you will feel bad in this movie. You will feel stressed.
That's right.
I honestly,
and you may turn it off.
You may want to.
My anxiety was honestly going through the roof during that scene where I was zooming in on her eye. I wanted it. I was honestly feeling stressed.
Yeah.
So
it's
a hard movie to watch.
I felt like I had to do something.
Like you had to
You're starting to get fight or flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane, dude.
So I think I liked moments of this movie a lot, but I didn't like I usually am set up for disappointment for the old horror movies because they're usually very slow. I still think this one, a lot of the interaction between the teens is either mediocre to bad. It's just boring. None of those scenes are memorable at all, and a lot of them are just throwaway scenes that aren't there for a reason. But the actual scenes with Leatherface when they're running around, those scenes are impressive, and if only because they make you feel awful. Or they make you feel some way, which is impressive at least. But not the scariest movie I've seen. I wouldn't put it up there with a lot of them, but I do think it's impressive for the sound design. We'll give this movie 5 incredibly old teens out of 7.
Not bad.
You're doing do you remember X-Play on G4 Network?
No.
Do you know about G4 Network?
I do know what G4 Network
Adam
was.
Sessler, Morgan Webb.
But
when they would give reviews for games, they would always be a 3, and then show something out of 5. Something like that.
We give it a 4.
Yeah, I don't know if they would actually do that.
Out of 5.
Or maybe.
I think they did.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I would love if my reviews score could just straight up... If I could have just said, 5 teens out of Leatherface, I would have said that, but no, that's not an actual score.
That's right.
But I did say my feelings before, so I feel like I could get away with that, but I'm not going to.
We need an empirical score.
Yeah.
All
right. That's enough of that, thank God.
Oof, okay, we made it through it.
Now for our surprise segment, we're watching it again. No, we're not doing that.
We need to do a thing where we're all going, whoa! And then I need to find...
Stop it!
All right, that's good B footage. That's
All right,
good. Yeah.
Just say that.
Throw
just
that
in
in there
case.
for... Yeah.
All right.
That'll be the intro, and then that'll be the cold open, and then it'll go into the
Ooh.
intro.
That'd be
Nice.
good.
I do like cold opens
That's right.
and cold cuts. Let's
Favorite
move on.
cold cut?
Ham.
Turkey.
Black Forest
turkey.
ham.
That's right.
Honestly, the other day I had a
No,
turkey and
fuck
avocado
off.
sandwich. I had the choice to get anything else. I was like, turkey and avocado, I'll take it.
No.
Avocado.
Oh my
Yeah, that's actually Dane's.
Oh
just,
my God.
that's a blight to Dane. Like,
That's
oh,
a blight
turkey
to Dane.
and avocado.
That's like when I
Oh,
got.
I don't.
Never.
It's not that I dislike turkey. It's that I would never choose it over any other meat.
just say you just
some
like
of
it.
some of
No,
Dane's
I
least
don't-
favorite meals: turkey and avocado, Pizza Hut pasta with grape soda.
Oh my God, yeah.
Dane just gat.
One time I'm gonna have to eat that just so I can say that I've experienced true terror.
True torture. just like
outside of-
that,
outside
that
of-
one.
You'll know how Sally felt.
That's right. Outside of Texas, yeah. My horror would be if they took off the burlap sack and I was just in front of a table and everyone was like,
It's just a
"It's
family-friendly
there!"
dinner.
Like a really friendly family, and it's just Pizza Hut pasta and a fucking 2-liter of grape drink.
No!
Fanta. And I would just go.
You're at a table with Steven Spielberg, Roger Deakins.
Oh my God.
Denis Villeneuve.
the sweat
Yeah.
is just building up on it. No, stop.
Yeah,
I can't.
and
and
who else
they're
would be
all
there?
just going in on a pan.
Peter
of,
Jackson would be there
Yeah,
too.
Pizza Hut.
Your heroes,
pasta.
your heroes have been
everyone's like,
reduced to nothing.
Well, you have more than enough to share, and I'd be like, no.
Stop it. Why?
And we also have this grape drink.
Grape drink though.
All right. Well, at the end of this podcast, we will draw another film. Please watch it next time so you can follow along.
That sounded a little desperate. Please.
I just
Please.
don't want. I just
Please
don't want
watch
them
it.
to. I don't want to spoil a movie for someone, but a lot of these movies, they're past their expiration date for spoilers. So I'm sorry.
Well past.
Yeah. If you haven't seen a movie from 45 years ago, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
All right. Let's
It's
move
been
on.
45 years.
It's been 45 years. Close to it.
No, but
I'm
when
gonna
you
go
think
ahead
of,
and say I don't agree with this spoiler. I don't agree
I
with
know you
straight
don't.
up time as a spoiler thing.
I know you don't, but I don't care. So, so rude.
Completely derailed.
No, that was so rude. No, but when you think about it, 45 years
Yeah.
ago, this movie came out. When you think of it that way, doesn't it seem like it holds up pretty well?
I mean, again, of all the old films we've watched, this is probably the one that I was like least just like, oh, this is like a boring ass old film. Like,
Yeah.
it has moments that make you entertained.
Sure,
for
sure.
So,
It
definitely,
would shock someone in any era.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Stands the test of time. I will give it that.
That's right.
All right,
Anyway.
let's move on to the end of video games
The end.
No.
as
what?
we know it. What?
Why?
It had to happen at some point.
No, video games still have plenty of Steam
No,
left,
they don't.
unless they're made by EA or Ubisoft.
No, they're done.
Steam. Really?
Let's go, dude.
Let's
Fucking go, dude.
Gabe N.
Gaben.
Lord Gaben.
You guys know he's a big knife guy.
You guys know he's a big guy.
He's a big guy with a lot
I
of
thought you were gonna say that. I
knives.
was like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's
He's a-
big.
he's
He's
a big-
like big guy. He seems nice.
He's a large man.
He's a large man. He's a fan. He's a big fan of knives.
Is that true?
I'm proud of. I'm proud
He has
of
a
him, I
giant
guess.
knife collection.
That's scary.
Did he
I
like
don't
cut
trust,
into his own hand?
I don't trust
No.
anyone who has a collection of weapons of any
Yeah,
sort.
a man
Yeah,
with that much
that's
money
true.
and that many knives, watch out.
Guns, knives, anything. If they had a collection of like
Torpedoes?
blow darts or something, I'd be like, no, no.
Okay, anyone who has a collection of blow darts, you know, is a little.
I don't know, but
blow
like
darts,
you know,
bud?
like I've talked to someone. Okay, I talked
Who
to
has a
someone.
collection of
This
blow
is
darts?
like this is a very weird tangent, and I'm gonna keep it very short. I promise. But
Okay.
basically, this guy that I was talking to one time, like it could have. I think it was a customer at work or coworker or whatever. But he said that he owns guns. He owns guns, but he's against people owning guns. Like
You're either a liar or you're crazy. I don't understand what the purpose of that is then.
No, like he literally said that like, yes, I own a gun, blah blah, but I think that the majority of people should not own guns. Like he was basically saying that
Okay,
he would be
that's
okay
fair
if they like got rid of the Second Amendment.
Okay.
Like he wouldn't be upset if he had to give up his guns. But,
I mean,
he,
I
but he was
agree.
saying that he enjoys owning his guns, and he
Sure.
was like,
Yeah, it's because if someone comes at you with a gun, you want a gun.
yeah, but like the way that he positioned it was super strange. Like I don't know, just hearing that was so weird when he's like, yeah. I own guns. Like I own a antique musket or something like that he bought from like God knows where. I don't know why he has this. And then he was also like, yeah, I have like an M4 and like all this stuff, like crazy weapons, like expensive weapons. And he's like, yeah, I mean I love them, but like I don't think people should have them. Like I don't think I should be able to own that. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's
When you
true.
say it that
Like,
way, it's a little strange. But when you say it like I have guns, but I don't think there are certainly some people who shouldn't have them. Like
that
that's a
makes
fair
sense.
argument.
That makes sense. But when the way he said it was like, it's I don't remember exactly what he said, so
Yeah.
it's hard to like say.
But if you say
word for word,
I own
but-
guns, but I don't think people should have guns. It's like, well, what does
That's
that
what he
mean?
said. He was like, look, I own guns, but like, you know, if they decided people shouldn't have guns, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so it seems like you don't have a lot of passion for guns. Why do you own the guns? I don't know.
Why
It's
do you
weird.
spend exorbitant amount of money?
A lot of
Money on
money.
the gun.
These were like he said he bought like the musket or whatever that he like a flintlock pistol or something. He said he bought that was like
That's lit.
essentially an antique that he bought for like a lot of money. I'm assuming because it's like a collector's item or something.
Sure.
So I don't know.
All right.
I found it to be a little strange.
that is strange.
Anyway,
All right. We've been
Here we
playing
are.
some video games. I hope. Hope you guys did your homework.
Oh no.
You
This
guys-
is
I
a
did.
dream.
Fade to black.
whoa,
There was no fade. It was cut.
cut.
I'm sorry. Cut to black. I use those interchangeably. I shouldn't.
That's right.
Have you been playing anything, Coulter?
Well, I mean, I've been playing more the usual.
Okay.
All right.
Any fun?
About it.
Okay,
Alright,
I'm
about
not
it.
accusing you of anything, Coulter.
God damn it!
I've been sliming some ranches.
You seem
I
really
mean-
hostile.
Can you please update us on your slime ranch?
I mean,
Slime
best
and
foreign
ranch.
language game I've ever played, but
Ooh.
no.
What is
Yeah, I
the
don't
best
know.
foreign
We've
language game you've
been.
ever played?
I don't think I've played a foreign language game actually.
Probably Sleeping Dogs.
Okay.
Hmm.
Mine's Yakuza 0.
Well done. That's a great little tangent to distract from the fact that I've played nothing. No, I've played only like PUBG and
Yeah.
a little bit of Rocket League and some Overwatch, but yeah,
Playing a decent amount of PUBG lately. I can't say that in any of the matches I've been part of, we've done particularly great.
yeah, we're having a bit of a cold streak and
It's rough.
PUBG. It seems kind of like luck though,
Yeah.
or like cheating, or
Honestly, a lot of times I'm watching those kill cams, I feel like you shouldn't be hitting
Yeah.
me from
I
that.
feel
There's
like
a lot
we've
of
been getting really
unfairness.
into just unfortunate situations.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't think. I don't know. Maybe I know I haven't been playing probably to the best of my ability at all times, but I know a few matches we just got the short
mollywop.
straw.
Yeah.
Mollywopped,
mollywopped.
yeah. There was some unfortunate incidents all around.
That's right.
Yeah. It's still been fun for the most part.
A couple exciting moments.
Can I think of any? No.
I can.
Go ahead.
When I jumped a car.
Okay.
When I
Oh,
barely
yeah.
inched away from a car with my life.
That was lit.
So, what?
Should I go ahead and explain it?
Go ahead.
Well, let the green screen talk. Actually, I won't. But Dane and I were playing duos and dropped into the shooting range, which is a hot area usually because it is a shooting range. There are
Harder
usually,
than usual, I would say.
yeah, but it is hot because they almost guaranteed to find guns there. It is a shooting range.
It's true.
But we dropped in. I picked up a scar. I was like, okay, Dane, I got a scar. I'm coming to help. There's a man right in front of me. Took him down. I think the guy punched you in the head and killed you.
He did. I didn't have a gun.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
I saw that happen in real time. I was like, okay, this is bad. But I downed that guy, that downed Dane. It's like, okay, Dane. And I heard his teammate kind of in the house that he was next to. It's like, all right, Dane, I can't revive you immediately because I might get gunned down. So we kind of crawled around to the back of a house.
I was like calling around the corner.
Yeah, the other guy was crawling with you, and you guys were having a nice conversation.
Yeah, he was
I
like,
didn't
he was
parse
like,
it out,
hello,
but-
and then I was like, what's up, man? And then he was just like, he wasn't really talking much, but he was
No.
just like, no,
Yeah, he
like
was just
making
like
noises and
saying,
shit.
moaning and some weird stuff in there.
Yeah,
but,
and like I'm sure there's like music playing or something.
Yeah.
But like,
But then the guy in the house, I didn't hear him anymore. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to revive you, Dane. It takes 10 seconds. I start reviving him. At about 5 seconds, I hear a car getting closer. I was like, are they going to stop on the hillside? What are they going to do? I turn my camera around to witness a buggy driving directly at me. It's literally coming right at me. I was like, Dane, I'm sorry. And as it's coming, the only thing I can think of to do is like I have to try to jump over Dane to run. I couldn't jump over you, but I did jump high enough that the hood of the buggy went underneath my feet, and I basically caught the top of it and just slid off to the side and avoided all damage.
and the car hit both me and the other guy.
The man-
It crushed us against the building.
The man
below
did
us.
splatter you and his teammate, which is a savage play. But
Yeah, that was savage.
I did kill him immediately afterwards, and then died shortly after that. But it was
Fucking
like
crazy.
the amount of space between me and that car was nothing at all, and I can't.
And the timing.
Yeah, it was just like, and the
on
car just
point.
hits. I was like, no, I
Yeah.
didn't just do that. That was the fastest, the best reflex I've ever had in my life
Yeah.
right there. To just
But,
jump
yeah,
out of the way.
That was insane.
And that was insane. But
That was one of the sickest survival plays I've seen
Yeah,
in
I was like, damn.
PUBG.
I felt really
up to this
cool.
point. Yeah.
But it didn't. It would have been cooler had like something come out of that. But
Yeah.
it ended with us getting very close to last place. So
I mean, you did jump over it and then gun down the guy inside the
did.
car. So
yeah,
that's something.
that it was cool, but it's just
Yeah.
it ended there.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we can move on to. I'm sure you guys have been playing stuff, some
Wow.
single player stuff, and
Yeah, and some multiplayer
I
stuff.
have been for sure.
What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing this small indie title.
Slime Rancher.
That's right. That people probably haven't heard of. It's called Slime Rancher. No, it's called Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, yeah, that indie. It's not
Man.
indie.
I'm going to say, just to start off, I feel bad that I never played this game before.
This game's a classic.
And I can see why people, within, like, I'm only, like, 3 hours in, probably roughly total, but, like, within the first, like, half hour, like, once I killed the first Colossus, I guess, and was kind of, like, getting the feel of the game and, like, the setup and everything, I'd realize, like, okay, this game's, like, it's a special game.
Yeah.
And it didn't take long for me to realize that. So, I feel bad. I'm sorry, Ueda,
sorry for me now.
for me to Ueda.
He doesn't care about you.
He doesn't. He doesn't care about any of us.
That's not true.
He cares about his digital worlds that he's crafted.
That's true. And they are fantastic worlds.
They are.
What's the name of the little boy in The Last Guardian?
I don't know because I didn't
Dang.
play it.
I didn't play that game.
Boy.
Boy.
It might be Boy. No, it's not. Yeah, so this game, first off, on PS4, might have to say this is the best looking game on PS4.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I wasn't
might-
prepared
might say
for
it.
how good. Like, I saw the trailers. I was like, oh, this looks pretty good, but it's still a trailer of just, like, it's like 1080p footage coming back on your monitor. I was like, oh, okay, this looks fine. The minute that game started, I was like, holy fuck. Like, this game honestly looks incredible. Like,
It's insane. Like, Horizon Zero Dawn and, like, Uncharted 4 and, I guess, Lost Legacy and, like, I don't know, like, Second Son was pretty
Yeah.
impressive in some parts, like, for, like, a launch title, but then, yeah, I don't know, like, those games are impressive in different ways. Like, Horizon has great lighting, and there's, like, it's all futuristic, so there's, like, a lot of metal and shiny, like, lighting effects and everything, and, like, lasers and all that. So that looks different, and it's cool. It's very vibrant. And then, of course, Uncharted has, like, uncanny
Giant
motion capture
sweeping
and, like,
vistas.
yeah, and, like, crazy vistas and, like, awesome physics and things like that. And really good lighting and everything. But then something about Shadow of the Colossus, like, mixing between, like, the art direction and, like, the actual, like, art in the game, like the actual textures and everything, and then like the animation of, like, the horse and the colossi and, like, the grass and trees and water. Like, the water looks crazy. Just all that combined, like, I think
Yeah.
it is the best looking game. Like, if I feel like I'm playing, like, on a PC, like, it's pretty good.
yeah. And this is coming after a game which, like, Monster Hunter, which I said last week, like, looks fine, but it runs pretty not great on either the frame rate.
That's true.
Well, the frame rate runs fine, but it's still not like, it's like 40 frames or 45 frames. The resolution is like 20 to 30 maybe if you're lucky. This, like, the frame rate version in Shadow of the Colossus runs perfectly at 30, and the resolution runs at 30. The frame rate, perfect 60 frames per second, and, like, it's the difference between the resolution is minimal, like, at best. Like, and it looks fantastic on both of them.
Yeah, it looks insane. And playing it in frame rate mode, just, like, the fidelity of the graphics and having that in 60 frames, like, obviously, like, I have that on some games on my monitor, like, on my PC, but then playing this game, like, on a big TV, with my headphones and everything, and, like sitting back and be able to just, like, watch, like, and it's very cinematic, so you're kind of, like, almost watching, like, a movie at some parts.
Yeah.
You feel like you are, at least, because of the way the camera is moving and everything. And seeing that on a TV, like, on a 4K TV, is just insane.
Yeah.
So the visuals of the game alone, I would say, are pretty jaw-dropping, but the gameplay and, like, just, like, the whole, like, mood and, like, feel of the game is pretty special. Like, I have my own theories of what's going on. Should I say what I think is going on?
Sure.
So
No one will confirm nor deny any
right.
rumors.
So you guys have already. I guess we should say you guys have already beat it.
Yeah.
Before, multiple times maybe before.
Yes.
I only meet him one time.
Only
but
once. Okay. So I am on the 8th Colossi. It's, if you remember, it's the one
That's
in
Colossus.
the giant tower. No, they say Colossi in the game.
For only one of them,
Oh,
Colossi
that's
is the
true,
plural.
that's true. So, yeah, the 8th Colossus. It's
That's
in
right.
the giant tower, and it's the lizard that can crawl up.
yeah.
If you remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
And he has, like, the little, like, weird legs, like the lightning. Or he shoots, like,
Fire
poison
or something.
He shoots
Poison.
poison spores. So
Like he's inside of the tube, and you're like running through the
like around it. Like it's like a
yeah.
it's like a tall Coliseum kind of thing. So I've killed 7 essentially at this point. And to me, at the very beginning, when you get to the temple and you have the girl with you, I don't know if it's lover, girlfriend, I don't know if it's like I don't know what it is, but friend.
Thank you.
Huh?
Thank you for saying it, and not her.
That's right.
Or them. It.
I suppose them would be more appropriate.
Sure. So I don't know who they are. I don't know what the relation is to Wander, the main character. But they get to the temple, and he puts Jiminy on the table on the little slab.
How did you know her name already? How did you know
Jiminy?
Jiminy's name?
I assumed. I'm sorry. I shouldn't assume her name either. So when you get there, and then there's like the mysterious, what are they called? The
Dorman.
The Dorman, yeah. So I don't know if it's like the gods of that area or what, but like when they're talking about how like I think one of the interesting things they say is her like soul is gone, or like her life is gone. Isn't that what it means to be mortal or something like that? And so that was kind of interesting because they acknowledge that they can bring her back, or that it's possible to bring her back, but they're like, but she's dead. Like, that's not something that should be done.
Right.
And then they say it can be done, but at a heavy price, at like a heavy cost. So each time you kill a Colossus, you like part of its life energy or something like goes into you, or like it's like soul or something,
like the
like
shadow
goes,
tendrils.
yeah, like goes
seek you
into
out.
your body, and then you just like your character is clearly suffering from it. Like he gets into his body, he passes out, you wake up in the temple again, and then they're like, oh, you killed the thing, and then the little statue explodes or breaks, and then they just tell you what to kill next. My theory is that I haven't formulated it all the way yet.
That it's in the Matrix.
That's right. What I think it is that these Dorman are like trapped, or like in some way like oppressed by the Colossus, and these Colossus are actually like the good beings, or like creatures, or like guardians of something, and they're basically like keeping the Dorman in check, and by killing them, they're basically manipulating you to free them, and they're using you as like a scapegoat, essentially. That's my theory.
Okay, you're actually 100% wrong. It's actually the precursor to MAG.
Oh,
the Massive Action game.
Massive Action game. 256 players.
Ahead of its time.
Landmark Gamer Achievement.
Not a lot of people know this, but
yeah. So that's my theory. I mean, I think the cool thing about this game is I'm hoping at least there's not like a very definitive answer to what happens, and that by the end of the game you're kind of left wondering like, was it good that I did this? Like, what did this all mean? I hope they like explain some things, but the way the game is going so far, it's intentionally vague in a lot of ways. Yeah. So I'm curious to see, but that's my interpretation so far. It also is, the reason I say that is because when you kill these colossi, it doesn't feel that great. Like, I don't really feel as if I was heavily threatened by them. I feel like I'm like hunting them.
Yeah. And
when they die, I'm like, okay, why? Like, I'm not. You don't gain anything. You don't get like a cool sword or like a shield or anything. You don't like. You know, it's not Monster Hunter. You don't carve off a piece of it.
I was gonna say,
cool armor.
Someone made a very apt comparison or a joke. It was like, you feel like really good when you kill monster in Monster Hunter, but for some reason, Shadow of the Colossus, it feels bad, and like you immediately know off the bat, you're like, something is off about this. Like,
yeah, something's wrong.
Many of the colossi that you see are just passive. Like, they don't look at you, they don't care about you because they're gigantic. They don't give a shit about a tiny little ant like you. Yeah. But still, you're just like
pissant.
Yeah, you're a pissant. Like, what do they care about you?
They don't. Yeah.
Like, the feeling is completely different in Monster Hunter. Like, yes, like, fuck yeah, I killed that giant dragon. Let me carve it up and for parts and build my cool armor. And you kill a colossi, you're like,
I don't think I should have killed that.
That doesn't seem okay, but
I'll
do it anyways.
Like, the other thing is that I don't know, the game is like it's clearly very carefully constructed, and there's a lot of themes at work that I probably don't fully understand and maybe aren't fully explained ever. But I think it's interesting that the world is completely devoid of life.
Yeah.
There's not really any noise or like there's noise from like ambient sounds and like, you know, riding your horse or whatever, but there's no music. There's no anything like when you're just riding through the landscape. And there's no people. There's no like there's hardly any even wildlife. There's like birds and then you'll see like lizards that you can kill or whatever. But then it's almost as if like you're left to like meditate on what you've done, or like you're like as you're riding along, you're like, oh my god, like in another 5 minutes I'm gonna kill this thing, and just like the cycle is gonna continue, and it's like it doesn't make you feel very good. Like you don't feel like an epic action hero. You feel like it's like
you feel like an invader. Like you're put in this world completely devoid of anything. And like, okay, I'm here. My literal only purpose is to just end these monsters. Like, for what? Like, we don't know.
Yeah, what's the goal? And so, I don't know. So far, I will say it's like, part of me really wants to explore the world. And like, my only complaint about the game so far is that I want to go and explore the map and the world, especially because it's so pretty on PS4, but because there's a lot of like mysterious areas where you're like, oh, is that a cave over there? Or like, where does this bridge go? Well, can I jump over this gap to get here? Blah, blah. And like, when you're doing that, to me, I think I've probably gone to a lot of areas already just in exploring that I will eventually go to for other battles with the Colossi. But I wish there was more incentive to explore. Like, I wish there was like not other enemies to fight, but maybe like puzzles, like little like shrines or something like that, like in Zelda or something.
I would say this is not that game.
I know. And so part of me, my complaint when I was thinking of that, I was like, okay, well that's very video gamey for it to have. This game is not like a video game. It's like it's like an experience or something. So I'm okay with it not having it. But the only reason I say that is because I love the game so much that I want to do more.
I agree with you.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, like when I first played that game, and even now, it's like, oh, like when the trailer first appeared, I was like, oh, Shadow of the Colossus 2? And like I was excited, but also like I don't want more of that game. Like I don't need more because it's impossible to like recapture that original game. Like there's no good way to do that again, I don't feel like, without just being like, here's like 16 more giant monsters to kill. It's like, well, that's not really what it was about. And so like I appreciate a game that just knows exactly what it's doing and like it doesn't waste any time. Like that game doesn't overstay its welcome at all either. It's not super long. Like you said, you killed 8 of them, or you're on the 8th one. Like
yeah,
it's not a game it's not a 40-hour like grind or experience like RPG. It's that game, like it's just what it is, and I appreciate that a lot,
and that's why I like it a lot. But it's just like part of me, it's like the video gamer at heart is like, why don't I have a map of things to do? But then when I think about that, I'm like, I don't want to really do that. It's just because that world is so interesting that I want to see more of it.
It's also a game from a different time.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why that particular element it just feels odd.
Yeah,
it feels very out of place. Even back then, it would probably feel out of place, but regardless, still great.
I'm glad you like it.
I really enjoy it. I'll probably
might have to pick it up.
Yeah, I'll be finishing it probably the next few days.
Yeah, I'm not as far as you. I've either finished the 4th Colossus or am on it right now, but taking my time through it. I like to, like you said before, I like to kind of have a meditative experience through there, because when you're going from Colossus to Colossus, you have not a lot of time, but like
it's a pretty decent amount of time.
10 minutes sometimes of just like you're just traveling through this landscape and you just are sitting there just absorbing the world, and there's not like it's completely devoid of life, but like it's like that for a reason. It's like, okay, like it's sending a message to you, and I think that's cool.
And today, like when I was playing, I just close the blinds a little bit. I do what Coulter doesn't when he plays video games. I play in complete darkness.
That's right.
I close my door. I put my headphones on. I cranked it up like full volume. Put the bass booster on, and I was like totally just in it for a little while.
Screen us out.
That's right. And I was just stroking it while I was playing.
Just playing and stroking.
Yeah. Just playing and stroking to this beautiful meditative experience.
Yeah.
I like how we just say all that and then completely undermined it by making a cock joke.
I will say, when I started my game the other night, Coulter was playing over the mic an Akon song, which really helped encapsulate the experience of this haunting world.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
I Want to Love You
I
by Akon just playing in the back. It was beautiful, honestly. I enjoyed it a lot. So
it's a weird song to have playing during the beginning of such
You don't think it would work, but it does.
But it does. It's beautiful.
I heard he actually toyed around with having that as the official.
He actually likes that game a lot.
Yeah, Akon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Akon toyed around with that game.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was also gonna say that I like. How much did you guys get stuck like on bosses? And
I haven't
what
yet.
age were you when you first played it?
I haven't gotten stuck yet.
I didn't play this game immediately when it released. I played it like a couple of years or maybe a year after it came out, and so it came out in 2005. I'm not sure how
So you
old I
were
was back
in,
then.
like,
I was a young,
elementary.
I was
you
a
were
young
in
man.
fifth grade, so
yeah.
you were probably 11.
Yeah. So imagine playing this as an 11-year-old and on a PS2. Like, it didn't, obviously the graphics weren't as good, but back then, like, it was still incredibly impressive. Like, the hair on the Colossus still like looked on the PS2 using like their weird tricks, like singular strands of hair. Like, it was pretty like impressive to see that in like this giant world. Like, this is the first game that I saw. I was like, this is like nothing I have ever seen before in a video game. And I think it holds up like that to this day.
Yeah. I definitely got stuck on like one or two
Yeah.
bosses, and I blasphemically, that's not a word, had to look it up.
Some of them can be slightly confusing.
I haven't looked up anything yet. The only one that I got slightly confused on was I don't know why thinking about it now, but the flying one above the lake. I was trying to think like, okay, do I have to climb up? Like, because if you remember the lake, there's like a bunch of little temples, like a little small areas that you can kind of walk into. Like you can swim, and then there's like a little platform, like you can stand in the archway, and then there's like on some of them they have little platforms in the water that you can jump to, like little lily pads or something. But initially what I thought was like, okay, I have to like somehow get its attention and like get up on the tower and like jump onto its wing or something.
Yeah.
But then I realized all you really had to do was, and I think the voices actually chime in, the doorman or whatever. They're like, you must shoot it with, or you must like attract its attention with your bow or something. And I was like, okay. So I if you shoot it from super far away by leading it a little bit, it'll just like fly down, and then it like right on the water, and you just jump onto it. So it was a lot more simple than I was. For me, I was like, okay, I have to do a puzzle to like climb up this tower and jump onto the wing and do all kinds of crazy shit. But it was really as simple as
That's a lot of them. It's like you overthink it so much. Like, oh, I gotta do this. It's like, no, it's really honestly as simple as you probably can think it is. Like, it's
so far, like the one, I think it's is it the second one or the third one where like you have to shoot its feet?
Oh yeah.
That one, like I didn't. The only thing that gave it away is like the symbols on its feet. And then I realized, like, okay, so I'll lure him into attacking me and shoot his foot, and then I'll jump onto like his So there's moments where like
The elephant.
is that what it is?
I think that's
so.
the second one. This is the big like one underneath the like lake. The empty
Yeah,
lake.
yeah. So I don't know. There's been moments where I'll see something, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do like a crazy maneuver, and then there's no need to.
Yeah,
yeah. It's an old game, so it's like I don't think about that because it looks so new. But a lot of those boss battles are very simple, but they're fun.
But also, I think it's supposed to be like you think of it in a real world sense, because there's like a real world like hunting answer to your question.
That's true.
Whereas
you
like
can't-
you're thinking as a video game.
Yeah, you can't jump very far. You're not that powerful, really. Like,
Yeah.
That's true. That's the other thing I like when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. Like, it's really like David versus Goliath. Like you're like multiplied by like 1,000 or like by 1,000,000 or whatever, because you have a cool sword, like an ancient sword that has like the special power to like kill these beasts, I guess, or these creatures. But you don't have superpowers. You can't jump that far.
No.
Like you can get like knocked into a wall and you'll like be almost dead after one hit and things like that. Like you're not like some kind of like, you're not a monster hunter. You're just a boy. And when you take down these creatures, it's very humbling.
Yeah.
Great game.
What did you think
That
about
is.
it upon your first completion, Coulter? Is this like a special game to
When
you?
did
Is
you
this like
play it?
Is this like, oh, it's a good game?
So I got the PS3 like right as the PS4 was like coming out.
Okay.
And then I like revisited all the like PS3 games. So that was one that I played like during that time.
Right.
So like near when the PS4 was first coming out.
It's like what, 2013, 2014?
Yeah, probably like later, like 2014 or something like that. I definitely loved it a lot when I was playing it. And like as you were saying, like I knew it was a classic when I was first playing it. I also like after like I finished the game, going back and like increasing my stamina and like exploring and stuff like that. And there were a couple like songs that came out during that time period that I remember very clearly because I would listen to music while I was like running around. One of my favorite songs, you guys know, is "Rather Be" by Clean Bandit. And that came out, I think, around that time, and that is like one of my favorite songs ever. And so I was just like running around like riding around on Aggro, the horse, and just like listening to that. And it was Aggro. And at times it looked like the horse's hooves were like lining up. It's like he's like galloping around at the same time. Yeah, and then there's a new album like by Cohen Sound. Cohen Sound is a EDM group that I like. And yeah, that was cool too. Oh, nice. It's called Dynasty, I think, and it had like some Asian-y elements to it. That'd so that cool. Like went super well with it. Like some bamboo flute and whatnot.
Okay.
So yeah, that was lit.
Nice.
Cool.
Great game.
Yeah. Actually, one of the things I didn't remember when I was playing it, probably because I didn't care as much back then, but the music in this game, very good too. Like there's no music like in the overworld, but when you start a Colossus like fight, it kicks in and it's all very.
It's reminiscent of Dark Souls.
It's very like swells in a really epic way. I really like it a lot.
And also, like I noticed in that lake battle with the flying one, I was telling Jordan there was like a really awesome moment that happened where it felt like it was a scripted event, but it wasn't.
Or my Schweenie got
big. Or you were stroking.
Way back in 5th grade when I first played this game, my Schweenie got big for the first time.
This game did sexually awaken me. That's right.
That's right. I saw that flying bird Colossus. I was like, damn, that thing's hot as fuck. No, but like, I was fighting the bird Colossus, and I had taken down one of its wings, or its head, and then one of its wings, and then I had to make my way across like its like back or like its spine or whatever to get to the other wing, and I was sprinting across it, and like every so often I would stop to like grab it when he was trying to like when he was like turning in the air, which is really cool. Like he's actually flying, and you're like having to manage physics and stuff, but I like jumped over his back, like his little like spiny area that you can't really grab onto. And as I was jumping, I was like, okay, I'm going to do like a badass jump over this spine and like grab onto his wing. And then at that moment in time, he decided to turn and fly the other way. So I just flew right past his wing off his body, like way off into the lake. And like as I was flying down, it's like it's not that special, but like when you leave battle with a Colossus, which usually doesn't happen because they're usually on the ground and you're usually just right there fighting them. When you leave the battle, the music kind of like organically switches from battle theme to like the normal like theme of you discovering the Colossus, where you're in their area and it's playing like ambient music. Yeah. So it kind of like very naturally shifted back into that. And then as soon as I got back on its wings, it was kind of like swelled up into the battle theme again, like as he's flying up into the air. And that was pretty cool. That was a cool moment. And it wasn't scripted. It was just I was doing this epic battle and fucked up, and then it looked like it could have been like a cutscene or something. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited to play more. Very excited, actually.
Me too. Anything else?
I don't know if I've been playing anything else.
Slime.
Please. How are your slimes
We're not
doing?
talking about Slime Rancher ever again. Stop.
All right,
Stop. Enough.
About it.
Okay. Enough about it.
Fine, we're done with Slime Rancher.
We played more Monster Hunter.
I have. Been playing that quite a bit, actually. So.
Yeah, I haven't been playing it quite as much just because I've been waking, but yeah, that game's still awesome.
I've been waking. Sorry.
That game is still great.
Yeah, we've reached the point where kind of are done with the main quest line, and it basically, it unlocks the high rank version of the game, which is where the real hunts begin, and it kind of shifts like the layouts of the monsters on the maps and throws more of them in there and increases the difficulty by a lot.
It's very challenging.
Yeah, the first like run of the game, not super difficult, didn't die that many times. This once you enter high rank, the monsters get way more aggressive. They have like a little bit different. Sometimes they have different like animations on their attacks, so they're just like more aggressive, and it makes it a lot harder and more fun when you like actually.
I mean, we spent like a half an hour fighting one of them, and we died.
That's one of the most deflating experiences of all time. Is one day and I literally spent probably 40 minutes fighting this monster, and it was weak, crippled. It was about to die, and then it just one shots me at the end. And you only get 3 chances, and we used all.
And I had already exhausted 2 from being killed by the exact same attack.
And it's like, well, we died after 40 minutes and got no rewards. I was like, oh, you want to go play something else? Yeah.
Like, it's really stressful because you get the reward that you get, really, the main reward is that the monster dies and you carve off its pieces or whatever. But then also, if you do it, like, if you don't get any deaths or, like, you don't have any penalties or anything, then you get, like, bonus rewards. So you can get more parts or more pieces of stuff than you might need. So, like, if you would normally need to maybe hunt it twice, maybe there's a chance that you get, like, what you need as the bonus reward. But we didn't get the bonus reward.
No,
we didn't get
nothing.
the normal reward. We got literally nothing. We spent, probably, like, close to the time limit, close to, like, 50 minutes just fighting this one monster. And then it's all over.
It also didn't help that when the monsters get weak, you can lay down a trap and then capture them, and then instead of, like, carving them up after they die, you just get more rewards at the end. 2 hunts in a row, I was like, okay, Dane, I have this trap. We can use it when the monster's weak. Both times when we're about to kill the monster, it gets weak, it's crippled, it's starting to limp away. Another dragon just flies out of the sky and just runs onto the trap that I placed next to the one we need to trap and just ruins the entire plan just goes up in dust.
Yeah, and then we're like, okay, we need to come up with a contingency plan for this. And then
the worst part about that last one is that we spent so much time fighting that monster, but 15 minutes earlier, had the trap just hit that monster, we would have been done and going home and carving up the monster and getting cool armor, and then instead just nothing.
And it's upsetting.
Yeah.
And then we were like, you want to go play PUBG? Like, yes.
And that didn't go well either, but
it didn't. But at least it wasn't quite as deflating as spending. Well, I guess in PUBG you also spend half an hour to an hour playing and getting absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it happens. The games are really honestly very similar. So
yeah,
but still enjoying that game. The main quest still is continuing. I just haven't done it, so I don't know where it leads to, but it's been cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been trying to play Dragonball FighterZ. I've been practicing a lot in that game, but they're still haven't resolved their network problems, and it still takes upwards of like 3-4. Like at one point, I waited probably 7 minutes for a match, which is unacceptable. Like in a fighting game, it should take the matchmaking should be instant, and like you should be fighting every single time you want to, and it's just not working, which is really disappointing because I like that game a lot.
Yeah,
but I can't seem to play it.
If it played as good as it, or if it networked as good as it looked,
seriously,
you'd have a game on your hands.
Like they keep saying, oh, we're gonna push out some updates, but I've seen nothing, no word on like their end that they're gonna like have some sort of update to do it. Like there's just zero word from the developer, which is kind of frustrating because you want to know like at some point that they're working on it, but they just aren't saying that much. So it's disappointing.
But I haven't played it since we last talked.
I did win a match by, not a match, but even just at the end of a round, I shot a Kamehameha, father-son Kamehameha with Gohan and Goku, and it pulled out to the planet, and the Kamehameha was just flying into space, and that was fucking awesome, so it still has its high moments. I will give it that.
Kamehameha.
That game is lit. One might say it's the definition of lit.
We can't let that one slide.
We can't. Cool game.
It has like a good training mode in it. Like it will, you can just do like combo tutorials for each character. So you just choose a character. I'm like, okay, this is how you do a combo for them. And the first ones are like really dumb because there are, like I said, auto combos. And so the first combo, the first combo for every character is like hit square 8 times. It's like, okay, well, like that works for every person. Like you don't have to do that one. But the other good thing is that a lot of the other like actual like manual combos you do work across like different characters. So like if you learn one, you can kind of pull it off with another person. So you can have like, because you have to choose 3 people. So it's kind of hard to get an expert with all 3 of them. But if they play somewhat similar, it's a little bit easier.
Interessante.
I played nothing else besides those games.
Yeah, that's about it for me.
A little bit Rainbow Six, but nothing to talk about there. Anything
what are
else?
the next big games coming out?
Nothing.
Yeah, probably nothing.
This is the end of video games. There aren't any more games coming out.
That's the end. No, is there nothing else big coming out soon?
The
next big one on my radar, I guess, is God of War.
God of War.
On 420. Let's go, bro.
And there's some big games coming out this year. I mean,
I know.
Red Dead 2 is coming out in October now. Yeah. Got delayed, but...
Did you guys hear... This might be interesting. Did you hear there's a rumor of a Battle Royale mode being in Red Dead?
I did. Every game has a Battle Royale mode now.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. But makes sense that they would capitalize on the craze.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I know like God of War... I feel like there's something else coming out on PS4 or something beforehand, but I might be mistaken. I don't know.
Bravo team.
That's the one.
Alpha Fire Team Bravo.
It is Bravo Team. No. I can't think of anything. So
The first
That's really gonna
Purge
bother me.
the first Purge,
game.
The Purge
the
that
game.
one.
The Bring Back movie games. The first one is the first Purge, the game.
Are those dead movie games?
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
Well, they've been relegated
Finally.
to mobile games mostly, like Marvel
Interesting.
stuff.
I never really thought about that.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of like B tier games are gone. Like, there's no such thing as like those like there's not a lot of mags anymore. Let's face it, mag is a B tier game. You don't see that anymore. It's either big game
But
or
it is
mean,
also
excuse you,
it is
but-
also 256 players, landmark gaming achievement.
yeah. Listen, I mean, it has its moments. 256 of them, if you will.
Lols.
256 consecutive moments.
256 mouses. 256 houses.
All right.
All right.
Well, I think that's gonna do it. Before we leave here, though,
We gotta
Let's-
pull a film.
pull a film out of a hat.
Where the fuck is the bag?
Let's pull a bag out
I
of a
think I
hat.
put it below, like, down there somewhere. But I suppose I will get up.
I actually don't know where it is. I don't see it.
Might be under a screen.
Might be under duress.
It's probably under this right here. It's probably under my little...
Whoa, that's a bright light.
Here you go there, jump that. Jump it in!
Sorry,
Every week we pull a movie out of the bag. It could be something good. Could be something bad. Jordan's pulling the movie right now. He's reaching his hand in there.
So sorry.
Coulter's sitting down in his chair. Give us the song. Sing us the song.
I have it.
Picking the movie out of the bag right now. Hey.
Seven Samurai?
Interesting. And Akira Kurosawa joined.
Oh. I have seen one Akira Kurosawa film in my
And?
life. It was good. It was very old, but it was still impressive
Yeah.
for its time.
This is going to be an interesting one.
He's
For some reason I pictured you saying this is going to be a dredge. Okay. Yeah.
that would never come out of your mouth.
No, I mean this is
That's right.
this is a black and white movie, so
Damn.
it is an old one, but it is one of the cornerstones of cinematic history.
I'm trying to remember the movie from him that I've watched.
Was
I
it
can't.
Throne of Blood?
No, I think it might have been called not Wanderer, Stranger. I don't know. The story of a samurai. He's one of the last samurai. He comes to a town and
Oh, that's
basically-
with Tom Cruise, Last Samurai.
No, that's not the one I'm talking about. That's absolutely not the one I'm talking
Alright.
about. It's black and white, Dane.
Tom Cruise has been in some art house films.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyways, respected
No.
Japanese director.
Yeah,
so.
very respected. This is a very old movie. This is probably the oldest movie on the list. Besides Leon the Professional.
Of course. I mean, obviously.
The first film.
That goes without
film.
saying.
The first
The first
film.
purge.
All right.
No, I'm excited to watch that though.
Yeah, me
Cool.
tue. Coulter,
I'll
you're not.
watch it. I don't know
You'll
anything
watch
about
it.
it, alright?
I don't know what it is
Alright.
about either, but should be interesting.
I'm curious.
Dane, no.
No, I'm just curious what the year is. I'm
I
not.
don't have
That's all I
time.
want to know is the year.
1959.
It might be like
Is it
1849.
Is it actually like before the 50s?
It might be.
Possibly. I don't know.
Oh no, it's
That makes
54.
sense.
Okay.
Jeez. Alright.
A poor village under attack by bandits recruits 7 unemployed samurai to help them
Wow.
defend themselves. That's all it is.
Very
simple.
similar setup to the one that I saw, except he was the only samurai in there. So
Mm.
I'm gonna say right off the bat that if this film makes me feel anything, I'll be impressed.
fair enough. Okay. Let's get on out of here. If you want to contact us, and please do, you can reach us at our email address at itsnotsosubtle@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram at It's Not So Subtle. You can also find us on YouTube at Not So Subtle. Please subscribe to us. Or listen to the podcast on iTunes. Give us a nice review if you want. Even if you don't want to do it, you should do it anyways, because that would be helpful. Did I miss one? Facebook. Find us on there.
I think that's it.
All
It's
right.
not so subtle.com.
It's not so subtle.com. I didn't say it, but I will say it again. It's not so subtle.com. You can find the list on there, the movie list, if you want to keep up with it.
The Wacky Film List.
All right. Coulter, where can people find you?
They can find me at Coulter Potter on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, guys.
Okay.
I haven't been streaming a lot lately, but I
No.
have a feeling it's coming up because I've been trying to, get the workflow down of the new podcast set. Speaking of that, last week I intended to put a lot more like clips into it, like show everything that we're talking about, clips and stuff. I didn't end up doing that. I put one clip in of the first topic, which was Nick Coletti's Vine stuff. But on this episode, hopefully you guys have been seeing clips of stuff, unless a catastrophic thing has happened. So hopefully I've got the workflow down. But with that comes hopefully more streaming, and we'll see.
All right, Dane, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on the internet, most places at Lane to Point. Pretty much all the social medias I'll be on there, and then of course on Pornhub, because I can't forget that pitch every time. I don't really have anything else to add besides that.
All right.
No.
You can find me.
Pretty normal week.
Jordan, where can they find you?
Sorry, Jordan.
No, please go ahead.
Jordan, please.
You can find me, Jordan Miller, at the Killamilla on Twitter, Instagram, and video game services, including Twitch, if you want to see me not stream, because I haven't been for a while. But don't count me out. I could do it. I just haven't. I'm not opposed to doing it, but I just haven't. Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna figure out when you don't run from what you come from.
Yeah. And if you want to follow my anime blog on Tumblr, Tenzo-Taicho.
How do you spell that?
I'm not going to spell it.
Okay.
If you will like the content on the page, you will know how to spell it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair.
If you type in Tenzo Dash, I'm probably the first one. Do it.
Dane's
But also,
got something to look up.
your search is gonna be biased because you follow me.
That's true.
You're just a dirty bias.
So how about you randoms out there? How about you do it and then you just click follow afterwards and see what happens?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that won't really work.
But it did come up though first, didn't it?
It did.
Okay.
But it's because I follow you.
Yeah, it's okay.
As
It's
soon as
okay.
you type in T, it probably comes up.
Yeah, I'm the first T on there. All right. Thanks for listening.
THAKILLAMILLA.
You got. See, it's not that hard. You got
You'd be
it.
mad at me for spelling it.
I don't care if someone else spells it. I just don't want to have to do it.
Though. Yeah.
I spell it every time I have to log into something. I mean, I don't want to have to do that again.
It's a lot of work for you.
It is.
It's your moniker.
It is. It's my monocle. All right. Thanks for listening. See you guys next week.
Bye.